Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Looking a little fuzzy this morning, so I'm gonna refresh this thing. Um, well, I'm gonna wait till somebody else get in here. But we are actually yesterday. I want to continue. We had a great conversation going yesterday. If you joined us, you know what we talked about, and we're going to extend that because we had to stop that conversation pretty much pretty abruptly because we had a guest that came on with us, and we was talking about can a woman can a woman get in her own way? Can she be too strong for her own good? Can she be too strong for her own good? Give us a call, 508-92 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to hear your input on can a woman be too strong for her own good? Can she get in her way? Can her having to wear so many hats for so long, because a lot of times our sisters, black, white, orange, polka dot, or little stripes, had to wear so many hats because the fellas were not stepping up. The fellas were not doing the things that they were supposed to do, and for that reason, the young lady had to wear a lot of hats. You know, not by choice, certainly not by choice, and it's a situation that I wish that she would not have had to be in, but the reality of the situation, she is in that situation now. Because she's in that situation, and then the right guy come along, her knight in shining armor come over the hill. She look at him, he's coming over the hill, and she is in awe. Here he comes. He comes and catches up. They get together and start a family. She already have kids, but start a family. Do you think she is able, majority of the women, do you think they are able to sit it down and let him be the head of the household? She's been doing it for so long. The kids has been looking at her so long as the head of the household. She has been that person. She has been that person for so long. Is she able to take some of those hats off and give it to him? Some, I know a lot of you are thinking some can, some can't. But where lies the difference? Where lies the difference in whether they can or whether they cannot? Where is the difference? I want to talk about that today. We got another topic we're going to talk about as well. We're going to stay on this one for a little bit, and then we're going to transition over to our topic of the day. Now, please understand that this is not our topic of the day. This is not it. I wonder why these people keep putting this bogus stuff on my page. I don't know if y'all heard it or not, but there's a crazy post going around, and it's saying that Justin Bieber is dead, and I don't understand why people are circulating fools like that. I looked it up. The young man is not dead. The young man is not dead at all. I wish the people would stop. I'm gonna have to figure out a way where I can stop people from putting stuff like that on my page because it's not reality, man. You stirring up foolishness. Stop that. Stop that. And I'm gonna tell you something. Every time somebody puts something like that on my page, I ban them. I ban them. I put them on the ban list. You won't post nothing like that on my page. But anyway, back to our topic at hand. Can a woman get in her own way? Can a young lady get in her own way? Can she block her own blessing? Let's say it like that. We say this is a Christian or gospel station. So let's talk about it in that regard. Can she block her own blessing? Can she block her own blessing by the things that she do or don't do? If she won't allow this man to be the man in the household, because she been doing it for so long. I did it when you wasn't here. Why should I stop doing it now? Because I'm here. You don't have to do it like that any longer. You don't have to do it that way any longer. You had to do it that way in necessity because you didn't have anybody here with you. It was necessity. You had to wear all these roles. You don't have to do that anymore. Sis, you can relax. Relax a little bit. Learn how to relax. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521, asking the question, a continuation of the conversation we had yesterday. And as I said, we had a guest yesterday, so this conversation stopped it abruptly. There was so much more that needed to be said, that wanted to be said, but we had to transition over to the guest that we had yesterday. So I want to continue it just a little bit today. Not going to necessarily stay on it very long. We're here until 10. We'll be finished with this part of the conversation way before that, because we do have another topic of this day. But the phone lines are open, 508-924-3521. If you want to comment on this, have you ever seen a situation like this? Have you ever seen a situation where a young lady, being a strong sister, and I say sister, that could be black, white, orange, polka dot, little stripe. I say being a strong sister, she got in her own way. One of them get the good, like Rico and I was talking yesterday, the right one got away. The one that should have kept got away, or she ran him away because of some of the foolishness that she did or did not allow him to do. I'm very curious to find out how y'all feel about this, because I actually put a post up yesterday, and on that post there was a lot of comments, and majority of the comments were from young ladies, and the majority of the young ladies that were making the comments said the yes, say that she can get in her way, and oftentimes she does. So I want to hear from a lot of people today. I want you to actually tell me. I want you to call in. I want you to be a part of this conversation, be a part of this dialogue that we're having today. Tell me, can a young lady get in her own way? And what are the things? Is it something she learned from her mother? Good morning, Ricky. I see you over there. Ricky. Ricky, if you got a minute, man, give me a call this morning. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. And ask the question, can a woman get in her own way by being too strong? If she's too strong, she's the man, she's the woman, she's everything. She had to be that for so long. She was the man in the relationship. She was the woman to the house and the family and the kids. She was the provider. She was the nurturer. She's the counselor. She's everything. She's the judge, juror, and the prosecutor. She's everything. She's everything. But when the right man come along and step into her life for the right reasons, let me put that out there. The right man step into her life for the right reasons. Is she able to step aside? Or not necessarily step aside, but take some of those hats off and let him lead? If not, what will stop or hinder her from doing so? Is it a pride thing? That's another thing. Is it a pride thing? This submission thing. A lot of young ladies take this submission thing very deep. They don't believe in that submission. What you mean submit? You ain't God. Why am I gonna submit to you? Well, God says in his word that a woman should submit to her husband. That ain't what I said. I mean, it's written. I didn't say that. I did say it, but it didn't come from me. Let me put it that way, because we got some smart and some very intellectual people out there. But my thing is, I read it. It was written that a woman should submit to her husband. To her husband, not a boyfriend, not a honey boo boo, her husband. Now, if y'all walking around here shacking up and doing all these different things like that, and this joker ain't gonna be there nothing but a month, I don't know if you're gonna submit to him. I don't know if that's what you're going to do. But at the end of the day, if y'all moving in the direction of becoming husband and wife, you already have kids, and y'all talking about having some more, he's going to be the head of that household. He's going to lead that household. Then why would you not? Why would you not allow him to lead that household? And like I said earlier, I've been doing it for so long, man. I'm used to it. Yeah, you used to being out of order. Now it's time to get some order in your life. God has sent you the right man. Don't run him off because you're used to doing things a certain way. It's time for some order. Let's get some order in your life. Got a caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, you talking to me? I just got on. This is Rico, man. Calling from Anderson, Alabama.
Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? We got Mr. Hicks. Both you and Mr. Hicks.
Yeah.
Y'all must have
Right.
set. You and Mr. Hicks must have set y'all clock, man. Y'all came in exactly at the same time. Y'all must have
Okay.
set y'all
I
clock.
was wondering, I was not they be talking to me. I just got on.
Yeah, yeah. We talking about we extended the conversation that we had yesterday, Rico. Because like we had the guest yesterday, so we had to stop the conversation and abruptly stop the conversation and move on to something else. But I'm asking the same question. Can a woman be so strong that she get in her own way and block her own blessing in the way that she act and interact with that new man that's coming into her life? What do you say to that, Rico? Can she be too? Can she just be too strong? I always done it this way. I always been this person. Now you want to come in here and change something. Rico, what is that?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, it was funny the way the discussion was going yesterday because it was like, um, people just had some. It was like somebody drew a circle around a person, and they were forbidden not to go across that boundary.
Yeah.
And so it was like we danced all around it. I heard almost everybody come on and say, yes, everybody can be too strong and get in the way of their own blessing. So when you say everybody, that means man, woman, child,
Yeah.
elderly. And so when you say, well, can a woman do that? Obviously, a woman is one of those people, just like a man can.
Mm-hmm.
But in the process of it being so hard for people to say yes, sometimes it's hard for women to take the gloves off, like Navy finally said.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's too hard for people to say that, and they started talking about the reason why. Well, women wouldn't have to be so strong, and men weren't so soft, and this and that. But the question is can women? And then they said, well, if it was the right man, if it was a strong man, I'll make it. But see, what about the women that do miss those strong men, and then they come back and tell you how much they regret it because they got in their own way,
Yep.
whether they were being too strong, and being strong might not have been as far as being bossy, but it could have been just as far as not wanting to change their ways, stuck in their ways, their beliefs. I
Mm-hmm.
think I could go to the club when I get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got kids. Yeah, they got to go to school in the morning, but I still feel like I want to party Tuesday through Sunday. And my daddy is living at this old address. You ain't my daddy. You can
Mm-hmm.
miss out on Mr. Right, and as many women have done that. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, women can get in their way with those mindsets and those attitudes, not wanting to conform or submit, which really and truly shouldn't be looked at as negative. So I always say cooperate,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes cooperating is submitting and saying, well, you know what, man, this ain't what I want to do, but I'll do it for the right reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when they hear that word submit, oh my goodness. This ain't the old days. Y'all want to go back to the chauvinistic days. That's the reason why it's messed up now. No,
Mm-hmm.
submit means cooperate. Get
Yeah.
out of what you want to do and do what's in the best interest of the whole picture.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
Cooperate.
And see, and that's and I said it earlier, that's a big part of it, man. That word submit. That's good. That runs women off, man. You start talking about submitting. Oh my God, no, oh never. That's like you said, that's the old days, man. We don't do that. We don't do that today. We don't do that today. No, no, no. Grandma and them used to do that. And look at grandma and them. Well, grandma and them kept their family together too. Now, where your man at? Grandma kept that family together. Grandma had somebody that's had a man in the household. Granddaddy was there. Granddaddy was there. Mr. Hicks, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem. Good morning, Go family. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, Miss Hicks got he got that hat on today, boy. He about to come with that intellectual. I can see it, brother. But listen, I'm asking the question, and we got a call. I'm good to come to you next as well. But we asking the question: Can a woman be too strong for her own good? Can she get in her own way? Can she block her own blessings? She been the man in a relationship, the man, the woman, the provider. She been everything for so long to her and the kids, and now Charlie coming along, Johnny coming along, whatever his name is, and he want to be a part of the family. He want to come in and do his part, and he tried to explain to her, baby, listen, you don't have to do this all by yourself no more. I'm here to help you now. Can she be too strong and get in her own way and block her own blessing? Mr. Hicks, what do you say to that?
Oh, oh, wow. Sure. I mean, yes, yeah, and yeah. But I think it's so complicated because as you were, as I was.
Mr. Hicks, can I put you on full screen for a second while I refresh? Can I put you on full screen for a second while I refresh?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Wait.
It's so, I guess it's complicated in a sense, right? Because I have to think about this. Where did this whole thing come from? You know, we have the concepts of where did man and woman come from. We got the Genesis stories. We got two separate ones, and we got a whole history. But I think that the more you look at it, is that we have these qualities inside of us, both of us. The man have this feminine quality about his personality that he denied simply because of the way society has shaped it. The softness, it's when you say with strength. It's strength for a warrior. It's strength for a man. It's strength for a man who had the ability to protect the woman against enemies and kill, and all that stuff, to be gentle with a woman and to be gentle with his children, but still keep that edge that it takes necessary to protect the woman. But at the same time, the woman can see submitting and being soft as a weakness, but it's really a strength, because she have all the attributes of a man. She's a man with a womb.
Wow.
She have all the attributes, but there's a foundation, a kind of natural thing that she had the baby, and the baby can't just get up and walk like animals do, and get up and walk. It takes like years.
Yeah.
And someone's got to protect her when she's vulnerable, and that's the man. And he's got to have that do. I think the thing I see so much in terms of how things shift around, women don't see men as the protectors, because men has failed to be the protectors of the black women. We failed. I'm talking about what I've looked in my times. I remember a time when we were soul sister. We were all sisters and brothers. And if you walk down the street and saw a man beating on a woman in the street, man, and knew it, we jump out the car and beat that nigga up right on the corner.
Yeah.
But so I'm saying, so you look at a woman that's been abandoned by her man.
Yeah.
And feminized. I'm not trying to find the blame and causes. There are causes, but that's just the reality. That it's hard. It's hard to find a real man. That's a man.
Wow. Because sometimes them jokers looking the man looking for another man, and that's the crazy part of it right there. That's it's sad as it is, man. Sometimes a man is looking for another man, and what kind of man?
If we ain't careful though, we'll go back to talking about what men ain't qualified and not helping the women that's running across missing Mr. Right, and then crying about how they let the good one get away. Once again, we headed right in that direction of not talking about the issue at hand. See, if women had to get together, if men had to get together and address men, I don't think we bring up women.
Yeah, exactly. And
we would have to keep that conversation the same when the women came around, because we're addressing the issue about men.
Exactly.
But now when we're addressing women that may. Well, I mean, what do you mean by too strong? Is it because they're trying to be too much of the boss? They're trying to be too dominant, or maybe they're too strong in the requirements of the type of man that they want, because they're looking for tall, dark, and handsome, or light-skinned, wealthy, and fine. But they ain't looking for quality and character. Now they want to be happy. They want the qualities of a man with character, but they're too stuck on physical appearance. So just because he ain't tall enough, or he ain't got 7 figures, because he ain't light skinned or dark skinned, you missing out on the best thing that could have happened to you, because you were too strong on your values of what you look for physically in a man over what you really needed, and now you regret it because you see this man went on to be Michael B. Jordan when he was corny in high school. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
now,
good.
I mean, how much can we keep going to how sorry men are? Michael B. Jordan was a qualified man, but in high school he was corny, and he let that woman know that he remembered what she said. I believe she probably think, "Oh my goodness, I messed up on my blessing."
And now
he
the whole world
what I said.
And now the whole world know that I put him down during that time, and look at what he became now. Boy, I missed the boat. Missed the boat. Yeah. I'm with you. On that.
Is he a real man? Is he a soft man? Or is he a corny man? It don't matter. It was just the fact that she had a mindset that she was too strong in at one point in time, even if it was in high school. Because you got grown women that do the same thing. They have these qualities and these standards that they put out that don't have any character or integrity about them. And then when they were looking for the man, because they're still single, they forgot that they were chasing for the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They forgot they were chasing for the dope boy with the money.
Mm-hmm.
They forgot about all the people they call lame and square. They came at them and, oh, no, I don't want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we still in a society right now that exists where you have women that will say they will choose a wealthy man that they know cheats over an average man that's loyal.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And
They
and
ain't
and
choosing Mr. Right.
and,
They're too strong in what they desire
and look at how
to
twisted that
even give
is.
Mr. Right a chance.
And look at how twisted that is right there. That whole mindset. Look how twisted it is. Let me go to the phone line. Stanley, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm just listening in this morning, man.
Oh, okay. You ain't got no comment on this one?
This is deep one.
Yeah. It is. It's real deep. You don't have no comment on this one,
No.
Stanley? Okay. All right. Let me go to Ryan. Ryan, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Ron ain't scared.
Good
He ain't
morning.
Yeah. Talk to me, brother. Can that
Ron
woman?
ain't scared.
This is an extension of the conversation we had yesterday. Like as you know, we had a guest come on yesterday. We had to stop the conversation at a point where we should have kept going with it. So we're going to do that today. Can a woman be too strong for her own good? Can she get up? Can she block her own blessing?
For sure. No question. No question.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we ain't those people that keep everything to ourselves, me and my wife. So, we've talked about our relationship a lot. In the beginning, it's been 20 years and we've been together.
That's a blessing.
And yes, it is. But the first 7 years felt more like a curse.
Lord.
that was not just that was not just her end. That was partially me too, right?
Yeah.
But my wife, as timid as she appears on the show, she's the intimidator to people outside of here. Like people see her and they just turn the other way. They don't want nothing to do with that. They intimidated by her. Her looks, she got she got that resting face, if you know what I'm talking about, sometimes. And her attitude matched mine perfectly. I don't know you. Don't talk to me. You know what I mean? So she's done a lot of work on herself, but she almost cost herself what we have now in the beginning. Yeah, and like I said, I had a part in that too. But on her end, she was too strong. She didn't need no man. She didn't need this because men are evil. You know, we do all the bad in the world and et cetera, et cetera. And she's so stuck in her ways sometimes. Like I say, she's the model of a 50s wife. She wants to be at the crib. She wants to be taking care of the house. She wants to be taking care of the children. She doesn't want to work. You know what I mean? And that's her prerogative. And I support her 100% in that now that I'm in the spot where I'm at. So, but in the beginning it was, hey, you got too much attitude. Well, why don't you want to spend no time with me? Nobody wants to spend time with somebody who got an attitude like you got. That's how I used to talk to her. And I was just being real. And like, we're struggling, we barely making it paycheck to paycheck. Why don't you get up and go do something? And that was a lot of animosity, but I took her from another man. And that man is the reason why she was the way that she is, and other instances that we won't speak about on air. But that guy was the weak man. He didn't want to work because he was afraid his wife was going to step out on him. Well, guess what? He forced her to step out on him by his actions, right? So he created this monster that I inherited 7 years of baggage from. And over time, she come out that shell. She's the person that you guys know and hopefully love as much as she loves you guys.
Absolutely.
So and if she didn't love you guys the way she does, she would have never introduced me.
Exactly. That's good. Man, and there's a lot of layers to this thing, man. We got a couple of other people that's on the phone line. Let me see. We got Tucson. Tucson, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm trying to make $1 out of 15 cents.
Man, you're doing more than trying. I believe you're doing it. I believe you're doing it, brother.
The doggone door. I'm laughing because I knew somebody that ran into the door. The
Wow.
roll-up door ran into the roll-up door. We've been here 30 minutes and towed something up already.
It don't take long. Don't take long. Now, how many women has torn up a relationship? How many? See, how I did that. I tied the thing together.
How many women?
Yeah, has torn
How
up.
many women?
Yeah. Let's talk about the women now. Let's talk about. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Has torn up relationship?
Yes. Because they're too strong.
Okay. That's because of what?
They think they're too strong. They say, I'm too strong. I've been doing this all this time, and now here you come out of the blue and you want to take over this whole situation. I'm not relinquishing my power. I've been running this house. I've been taking care of these kids. I've been paying these bills. I've been doing all this thing. Well, what is he supposed to do? Can a woman be too strong?
This is a continuation of yesterday.
Yes, it is. Yes, we had to stop it abruptly because we had that guest, remember? Yeah.
Oh, well, you sound like the ones that brought the woman that was caught in the very act of adultery, because it takes two to tangle. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But I hear what you're saying. I
Yeah.
had to rehear what you're saying
Mm-hmm.
because I done met a lot of strong women. But you know what else? And you said you're just talking about women. I'm game for that.
Yeah.
I'm game for that one. They strong and lonely.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And they full of advice to somebody else that got somebody. Here's the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the somebody that got somebody about to lose that somebody is listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
They can't keep a man, but they got manly advice.
Come on.
What the heck is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm riding through the warehouse and I'm looking at stuff and I'm saying to myself, Lord have mercy. Anyway, I'm glad I gave my hat up so I don't have to answer nothing from nobody but me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got to get rid of that bad habit of trying to supervise folks. You heard what I said, right?
It's in you. It's in you, brother.
It's a bad habit. I got a bad habit.
It's in you.
I got a bad habit of that. But anyway, man, you know, Lord have mercy. You know, but sometimes you don't have a leg to stand on until they get rid of the hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody messed them up. And you know that somebody is that man? That's why I say it takes two to tango.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, let me be honest. You're going to the confession booth today, Raheem.
Come on.
I've been that dude. So have. Yeah, because see, some people are too cute for their own self. And they think stuff don't stink. And so you have to give them one.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's an unfortunate truth. That's an unfortunate truth that I've already put out there. Lord have mercy. I done condemned myself. Intimidated myself. Don't have.
It's okay. We all got to do that sometime. We all got to do that. Yeah.
But we hurt them, right? To be honest, I say we because I've been that guy. I'm just being honest, okay?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Been that guy. Yeah. And they meet somebody and wound them because they're wounded. You know the old saying, hurt people hurt people?
Mm-hmm.
And we kicked that can down the road for years and years. And when a good dude that I think that I'm trying to become, I say trying to become, okay? Because I had to realize it wasn't them, it was me. Until you realize that it's you and not the other person, you would repeat the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing a little better now because I learned my lessons the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
But then when they meet that good dude that has had some other issues like Georgia Peaches.
Uh-oh. Big butt.
Lord, I'm sorry.
Big
I
butt.
love them
Baby
women.
had a smile.
I love them women. They're so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Lord Jesus, if they make any more, I don't know whether, I know they got some beautiful women in the Caribbean, but Georgia has some peaches that are adorable.
We're gonna keep you out. We're gonna keep you out of Georgia, brother. We're gonna keep you out of Georgia. We just gonna keep you out of
I ain't
Georgia.
going.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna even visit. No, sir. I don't drink peach drink. Peach nothing.
Boy,
But I'm saying,
them peaches had some peach that had an effect on you, brother. Some peach that had
man, I don't want to do that, man. You give me a peach shirt, I ain't wearing it. But what I'm saying, Raheem, is that, you know, when you finally, that hurt person meets a person that has also been hurt, it takes a while for them to get rid of the hurt, so they'll let somebody in.
Yeah.
So you go to somebody else. I just wanted to say that.
Exactly.
I feel better.
I'm glad you feel better, brother. I'm glad you feel better, man. Them healing peaches. Peaches are heal, yeah. But let me go back to Stanley. Stanley said he was in a situation he couldn't talk, but he ready to comment on this now. Stanley, what's on your heart, brother? Can a woman block her own blessing, get in her own way because of the fact that she thinks she has to be so strong in all situations, all elements of life, that she won't let that man step in and be that man? What do you say to that?
All right. Good morning. How
Good morning.
Doing?
Hey, doing good. How you doing this morning?
Yes. Man, I'm all right for old man. Yes, they can in certain situations. Like we say all the time, it's about the environment, where it was brought up, in the situation that they was raised in. A lot of them feel they have to be like that. They have to be the dominant one. They have to make sure everything runs the way it runs, because they've either grown up in a situation where the man was weak, or they married into a situation where the man was weak and they had to be dominant. You know, but we as a black society, we kind of promote some of that stuff, because, you know, we do more for mama and grandmama than we ever do for dad or granddaddy. You know, they give mama and grandmother all the respect in the world, but they don't give dad and granddaddy that respect. They figure that they're supposed to be here just to pay the bills and make sure there's a roof over the head, clothes on the back, food on the table, and that's our responsibility, true enough. But they don't give the men the love and the support that they need. So a lot of women feel like they are in charge. They have to be the dominant one, because everybody's looking up to them. So I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I've seen in my lifetime. And I'll be 60 years old this year. You just take a simple day like Mother's Day. You know, Mother's Day, you can't get in a restaurant. You can't find flowers. You can't find a card, because everybody just adores their mom and their grandma. Father's Day, you can eat any restaurant you want to eat.
Yep.
You can find any card you want to find. You know,
ain't got to deal with no line to get into the restaurant.
You ain't got to deal with nothing. There was a prison that did a survey years ago. They gave free, I think it was Hallmark or Greetings or American Greetings, or one of them, gave free cards to all the inmates on Mother's Day and Father's Day. And Mother's Day received the most response. Father's Day was like lackluster. Nobody really cared. So a lot of women have been brought up in that position, and that's why they're so dominant. And they don't realize what they're doing. They're running men away. Because if you have a man that grew up, I was blessed. I grew up with my mom and my dad. My mom was a registered nurse. My dad was a textile worker, and then, you know, sang in a gospel quartet and all that kind of stuff. So, but a lot of men have grown up without the father in the house. So when they get into a relationship with a woman, a lot of them don't know how to be that man. They don't know how to be a husband or a father, or just a man of the house, because they didn't grow up in that. So then the woman feels like, well, okay, well, he don't know what he's doing. I have to take charge. I have to do this. I have to do that. Sometimes it works, but the majority of the time it doesn't, because if you become too dominant, then you run that brother away.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, everybody, you know, he has no self-confidence or low self-esteem or whatever you want to call it. So they feel like they are being dominated, and then the woman can be overbearing and run that man away. So it's just, as we talk all the time, man, it's different layers because everybody has grown up in different environments, different situations. But a lot of women feel like they have to be that dominant person.
Absolutely.
Because of how they was brought up, how they was raised.
Mm-hmm. And we're not here to try to make any excuses for them, man, because across the board,
right,
right or wrong, I'm not even gonna get into the right or wrong situation. Is not it's out of order. I say it like that. It's out of order. And my thing, what I was saying before people came on, is that a lady have to understand that when that man come into your life and he wants to be a part of your life, get it in order. Get it in order. I mean, you know, you've been doing all this stuff all this time. You've been this and this and that, but you know, now it's time for some order in your life. Are you ready for that order, Mr. Hicks? Are you still there?
Yes, sir. Just coughing. Got a bad cough.
Okay. Got you. Talk to me, man. We're talking about order now, and how the man is coming in and he's actually trying to get the house in some sort of semblance of order. But he could run into some resistance from that lady because she's not used to that.
Yeah. Well, whew. So it's a difficult subject, actually. You know, it's like studying the human body when it's in know thyself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, knowing how the liver work, knowing the spleen, know how all the different parts work as one unit. And in order to study, you study in parts, but it's a whole unit. Mm-hmm. So you break it down and try to look at our situation and separate and just say, let's talk about women and just focus on women. It's like a yin and yang. The left and side is like you just do one side of it, and it's connected. You can do it for discussion, but the effect is it's on both of us. You know, when you usurp the natural order of things, you know, as slaves and being captive, watch the man emasculated by another man. You know, it's something like going overseas when you go to Korea and go to Vietnam and go to these places. You see that the people that come in with the power and the guns, the women have flocked to them because that's what they do. They respect that power, who got control. And they become prostitutes for and all that kind of stuff. And so we come in these situations, and especially if you're talking about married, hooking up with somebody who already got children, which I can't relate to, and that's a whole dichotomy there. But even when the children are all yours, there's different ideas about how to raise the children. In this culture, everything is put that the woman is the wise one, the woman is the strong one. I remember when I was little down south, my grandfather, sharecropper, and I didn't recognize it then, but I did as I grew older. When he would pull up in the truck, he would always ask for Annie. That's my grandmother. Mm-hmm. My grandmother would come out and she would talk to him. There's really about something about the land or something. My grandfather was 6 feet, he's about 7 feet tall too. Mm-hmm. And he was a mean little Indian kind of guy. And I think he was afraid to deal with white people because there's an anger. But my grandmother had the temperament to deal with him. Whereas my grandfather, it was always a rough kind of conversation. Had this anger inside him, these drum beats. Mm-hmm. He told me a lot about the culture and the anger and what they had done to us and how they stole the land from us. He had the hatred, but the woman had herself more in control. So and it's pretty much that situation now. But this whole society around it builds it. This is woman year, Women's Day, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got everything you want for a woman now, you got it. It's out there. You can go get this, go get that. They give you this, go get that. But the whole design and plan is to separate the two, to make you start seeing yourself as a Black woman and a Black one separate rather than a unit. Mm-hmm. You make a oneness.
Yeah.
And when a whole bunch of ones develop in our society, our culture, and it happens, you know, I was married 30 years. And like Brian said, the first 7 years, it was easy for me. I was like 9-10 years older than my wife. So she relied on me. She trusts me. I just call her Teeny Bop. I call her my Teeny Bop. Mm-hmm. Whatever I told Whatever I told her, that was it. I would give a book, she'd read it. She followed. But as the years developed and she grew older and parents die and go through the things and you see my faults and my weakness, and I'm not that really looking for perfection, and vice versa, going both ways. But it comes to a point where the outside influence, when you say, hey, I can make it single because I can get this benefit. They can send me to college here. I can get this stuff over here. All I got to do is be single. So it's my advantage to get divorced, and then divorce is so easy. They got the no contest. Don't cost you maybe a few bucks. So they made it easy to dissolve these marriages, with setting patterns for the daughters who watch this stuff. It goes right down the line inside the family. But yeah, woman, the woman is the arms that rock the cradle of civilization. Every civilization is built off of the first teacher of the children, and that's a spiritual thing. But society is, you know, the game. It's been a game. Nothing have my accidents here.
And there's a book out there. A Nation Could Rise No Higher Than This Woman. There's a book out there that a lot of people need to read. That book, A Nation Could Rise No Higher Than This Woman. That's something. Ryan, talk to me, brother.
Man, so many layers. You know, I feel like society, and I say this all the time, society, media, all of those things play a role in how women are today, and how they react. But just like Hicks was just saying, you got outside influences too, in the community, in your own family, that are in there. You don't need him. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. You do this by yourself. And then they take on that mindset and deprive themselves of having not just a man, but a partner, a companion, somebody to help them, right? And I see it time and time again growing up. I don't need him. He this, he that, you know, all kinds of expletives. And, you know, and then when it comes time to pay the bills and he ain't there, then they want to blame him. And yeah, you can still be a man and take care of your kids, right? You always take care of the kids. But sometimes, just sometimes, that woman put themselves in the way and deprive themselves. That's not really even a blessing. That's a necessity. But they deprive themselves of that necessity because of the way they act towards that man, right? Oh, well, I ain't giving her nothing. She didn't even want to let me see my kid. And that's real, right? So, but these outside influences, we got to be careful with what we let the kids see on the TV. We got to be careful what we let them hear on the radio, because it affects their minds, and they start adopting that mindset that, oh, I'm just as good as a man at everything. I'm sorry, but you're not. You are never. You can go on YouTube right now and you can look at wrestling videos, martial art videos, weightlifting, fighting, and you got these big butch females calling a man out. I'm gonna kick your tail. Come on, let's do this. And they got the scrawniest dude you ever seen in your life walk in the ring and knock her out one punch, and she's swole and big. Like that's just science. That's real life, right? We're not built to handle that. And I know I'm kind of jumping around, but these are all things that are out there. It all ties back into that media. It ties back into what kids have access to, what women have access to. Like, I'm not saying they shouldn't have access to things. So don't take my words out of context, ladies, if you're out there watching. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's all of these outside interferences that grab a hold of your attention. It's like a drug. It grabs a hold of your attention and pulls you astray when you got something real good sitting right in front of you who wants to be that companion. If he's not, for sure, get rid of him. Bye. Kick rocks. You know, but we're not made to be alone.
Yeah.
says that in the book. We are not made to be alone. So
Exactly.
people need to really get back to grassroots and understand that there is someone out there for you. Stop putting yourself down. Stop being so negative about yourself because that makes you unattractive.
Mm-hmm.
Smile a little bit. Life is hard, but you can still smile.
Exactly. Exactly. Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, and the
This
smile,
gonna be good.
it's a pretty smile if you use it,
Mm-hmm.
but you're mad and angry,
Mm-hmm.
and you run your mouth and you talk. I can't wait till the ladies start talking. I'm gonna get it, brother. You better believe it. They just waiting to have a comment to tell you a piece of their mind. Is
Mm-hmm.
ready for it. It's intelligently and so sweet and
Mhm.
kind, and it comes out of a beautiful mouth.
Mm.
But my gracious, shut up. I mean, oh, you can't say shut up. Don't you tell me
Wow.
to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen. Well, listen then. I ain't got to listen to you. Then they go tell you what their girlfriend said.
Wow.
Again, I'm gonna say this again. I can't help it. I'm sorry. We gonna get our chance while we can, brother. Because when Raheem turn the table on us, we all gonna get it.
It's coming back
But
at you.
oh yeah, it's coming.
Mhm.
You gonna listen to the? Why you listening to her? And she ain't had a man in. She couldn't. I wouldn't pull my worst enemy on her.
Mm. Mm.
She's about crazy as a wet dog. You ever seen a wet dog? You know how they shake everything off? They just be shaking.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's really just crazy. Anyway, Lord have mercy. And Lord, listen. Anyway, I'm having flashbacks now.
Wow. 508-924-3521. Tucson, you having a moment over there, brother. 508-924-3521.
I gotta go take a break.
Rico, talk to me, brother. Magic coming to you next.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna piggyback off what Ryan said earlier, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially the first time. You know, because to be honest with you, the way the conversation going when the women come in, they all gonna come in, you know what I'm saying, feeling some type of way because there ain't nothing really coming out of this conversation, but something that's gonna make them angry. When really and truly there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yes.
You look at Ryan and Zamari's relationship. And Ryan, I'm gonna ask you a question because you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be a part of this with a simple answer. Had Zamari not changed, would y'all be together?
No.
That's what they need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And see, when Zamari was in the chat yesterday, she was saying she had a lot of unlearned behaviors. Now, she didn't say it at first. At first, when she came on, she was speaking about what caused it. And, you know, yeah, a lot of times men do cause women to want to, you know, be too strong. You got a sorry men, lazy, no good men, don't want to work. Yeah, you got those. Then you got those that do work and they go to school and they go to college and they do great and they lame and they squares. They ain't as handsome. Because, you know, everybody has this fantasy of their dream man or their dream girl.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't have a crush on the most handsome or the prettiest female?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, how many really have an opportunity to get that smartest or that richest or that most beautiful person? So now, can you imagine a woman with low self-esteem that can't never get the popular guys or the good guys, getting older and still having this as her type? And she's strong in her convictions that this is what she's attracted to. Yeah, she done ran across some good men, but it's just something about a 6'2" man in gray sweatpants that look like something touching his knee. And he look good, girl. But that dude you got, he a good man. Yeah, but he a little fat and short. I don't know. He nice. He too nice. You ever heard that?
Yeah, yeah.
That ain't no man did them wrong to make them feel that way. So there are several reasons. So you got this thing in society now that has created an entitlement, this queen behavior. You know what I'm saying? People feel like they're supposed to just be queens just because they women, and they don't have to act a certain way. So they strong in that conviction that you just supposed to be a woman, and you supposed to treat a woman this way, and a man is supposed to be this, not knowing that there's an effort to be made in the way you have to carry yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But see, when you feel entitled, you might be strong in that conviction and don't feel like you need to make no changes. And that don't come from a sorry man or a man doing them wrong. You know, so I mean, you know, we could keep going back to how men created this. There are several reasons why women can get in their own way. But one of the reasons is because they have a certain type, and they strong in that conviction that they got to have that man. That man that used to be fine and popular back in the day might have started hitting that hard, and he might have been a player.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time he was a player back in the day, he was getting to find women, and she just wished she could have a piece of them. Well, now she got him 20 years later. I done seen women do this. I done seen women get ex-cons, pen pals from prison because back in the day they was handsome, or back in the day they were fine, or they was popular, they had it going on. And and they go through all these relationships, getting money taken from them, mistreated, but he's still fine. But then they find that Mr. Right. He got a good job, he college educated, he got a degree. They get married, and then all of a sudden he too nice, he drank beer. But everybody else before him drunk beer and smoke crack with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you find a reason not to be away from him because he don't turn you on. You ain't as attracted to him. He ain't a bad guy. You remember when women said they want a roughneck and they were on a thug?
Yep.
These was grown women.
Mm-hmm.
Them was CEOs they was talking about and doctors and attorneys. Now some of these women from that era still running around here talking about they single. Ooh, I'm on Plenty of Fish looking for a man. Ooh, I don't know what's going on. Ain't none of these men out here. I tell you. Them the roughnecks. They were too busy trying to be roughnecks, and now they living with their mama.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is what you did. You spreaded yourself around with the roughnecks that was getting that money, taking penitentiary chances, going to prison, waiting on them to get out. You're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. You know, it's a whole lot of things, but people have to change. Mm-hmm. You get strong in these convictions of what your type is. They don't have nothing to do with the man's fault. Don't have nothing to do with it being a sorry man or a lazy man or a weak man. It just got to be with the fact that this is what you desire. You like this type. Mm-hmm. And you don't want nothing but this type. Forget his character. Yeah, that's okay. He's smart and everything. Ooh, girl, he's so fine. That's why you see so many rebels and bad guys get the women. Have y'all ever recognized and realized that? How many people become serial killers, go to prison, and then get marriage proposals?
Mm-hmm.
Because of popularity and infamy. I mean, it's a whole lot of psychological stuff in this. You know what I'm saying? And these same women are getting in their own way because it's a Mr. Right out here. But you have a certain type that you're looking for. You're looking for somebody that's infamous. You want to be recognized. I mean, there's so many different things. That's why Kevin Samuels blew up.
Yep.
He addressed men at one point in time, but it didn't take off. He started addressing women. And guess what? He didn't let it stray.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't go back and say, well, yeah. I mean, it was good what Ryan did when he said, I'm held accountable. But you see how short he was on that?
Mm-hmm.
Because somewhere he picked up the torch and started doing what he was supposed to do and put his foot down, and she had to make the change or she had to get somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So, I mean, you know, yeah, it might be a man's fault, the reason why. It might be some sorry men. It might be some chauvinistic men that created feminism. Mm-hmm. But there's some women out there that backstab some good men and taught their children how to deceive their daddy, too, and how to be sneaky. Mm-hmm. And these was good men that didn't deserve it, and they find out 20 years later, them children ain't mine. All I did was take care of you. All I did was be good. I didn't cheat. Why she cheat? Because he was a no good man. Think about it. There are numerous situations where a woman still has strong convictions about a type or just a behavior or a way of life. They want to be Erica Kane.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be Alexis Collins. You know what I'm saying? They want to be on Dynasty. They want to be Nikki on Young and the Restless.
Mm-hmm.
Scandalous, but messing with all the powerful men. Oh, he ain't got enough money. You know the requirements they put on men now. What you got to have in your bank account, you got to fill out an application, they say. So,
Wow.
I mean, you know, it's this queen entitlement that gets out of control, and they get in their own way. When, like Kevin Samuels was telling them, look, if you making 5 figures and you 5'4" and you weigh 230 pounds, you can't expect nobody that makes 7 figures and everybody won't. You ain't getting Michael Vick.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting LeBron James and you 5'4" and 240. But you feel like you ain't got to change nothing about you because you a queen. And we supposed to accept y'all as y'all are.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's that balance they got to find and to be willing to make that change, because it can happen without criticizing them, without finger pointing and saying, it's y'all fault, y'all do this, y'all do that, y'all do this, y'all do that, because they're going to come back and say, well, that's the reason why we do it. But when you hear what Ryan said, yeah, I accept accountability, but she had to accept some accountability too.
Exactly.
And there was some changes she had to make, because somewhere along the line, I was doing the right things, and I was telling her, okay, now look, it's time for you to start doing the right things. And guess what she started doing? And we could tell she a firecracker. But I also could tell just by observing and being having enough perspective to look at Ryan and Jamar's relationship. I know he wear the boots.
That's
but
good.
he's respectful. Don't get me wrong, he's respectful. He knows he got a firecracker. But at the same time, she recognized what a real man was, but she had to still cooperate. Submit and cooperate.
Good deal.
Or she wouldn't have missed her best.
Absolutely. Ryan,
let me jump in, Raheem, right quick.
Go ahead. Bring your screen. Can you bring your screen up?
Yeah. Sorry. I just wanted to piggyback off Rico right quick, because I'll lose my thought because I'm running around here at work too. What he's talking about with these females who got a certain type, today in the younger world, they call it chasing Chad. His name is Chad. Chad is that 6'2", 6'3", well-built brother who's fine, got everything going for him, got all the money, got all of this and that. They chasing Chad, and they'll do whatever it takes to get Chad, no matter how many times Chad put them off to the side, smash it and leave, whatever. He will do this until these girls be like 20, and they'll chase Chad till they hit about 40 years old and realize finally, oh, Chad ain't got nothing for me. And then they gonna settle for the brother who's been throwing themselves at this woman for years. That's the good guy. And they gonna settle for him and take him because they know he's gonna accept them and do everything. And then they're gonna treat him like garbage. That's how it works.
Wow. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. What is the original question?
It's an extension from where we started yesterday. We talked because we had a guest. We had to stop the conversation abruptly, so I wanted to go back and revisit this before we get to our topic of the day. Now, mind you, this is not our topic of the day, but we are asking the question: can a woman get in her own way by being too strong? Can she block her own blessing? We concentrate on women.
I'll wait for the topic.
Okay, good. Captain, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, Raheem, and my beautiful Morning Glow family.
We're doing an. I was writing something down. We're doing an extension of yesterday. Well, we're doing an extension of what we talked about yesterday because of the fact we had the guest, a great conversation that we had with the guest, but it stopped this conversation at a point where we was at a fork in the road. And I wanted to continue this before we get to our actual topic of the day. So what do you think about that? And we concentrate mainly on the women. We're gonna have a conversation based on the men and our role in and stuff. We can definitely have that conversation as well, because I think that conversation is needed just like this one is. But can a woman get in her own way? Can she block her own blessing by being the woman that's I've always had to do this. I've always paid the bill, been this and done that and blah, 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 blah. And now here you come along and you want to change this. Should a woman be able to submit to the right man?
Well, let me say this. I'm going to take the same stance that Badger takes. I just wait till you come up with the next topic. To me, we buried that. I think we pulled out whatever we could put out that topic. There's some more that could be put out that topic. It only could be personal, man. I just like to move on personally.
Okay. Good deal. Mr. Hicks, talk to me.
I almost want to say no comment. Well, yeah, no comment.
Okay. See, and see the thing about it, what's happening right now is, and yeah, we talked about a lot of this yesterday, but there's so many more layers to this, dealing with the women and where they are and how they feel as though they have to wear their pants. And I spoke earlier about order. If we're gonna do things in decency and in order, the family structure was created to be set up a certain way.
Yes.
And the woman was not designed to be, and like I said, I'm being real careful because I don't want to talk about the man responsibilities, because that's a conversation we have later. But a woman's position in the family was not designed to be the disciplinary, if you will, or the one that quote unquote wears the pants.
Yeah.
And so, but
you know what, Raheem?
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt you, but you know, because I see now where this gonna go. I mean, you know, we sort of said earlier that this is a topic that people don't like to address.
Yeah.
And even Kevin Samuels got a lot of backlash. But if you really paid attention, a lot of those women that gave him the most problems came back and thanked them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want the conflict they had with each other. A lot of times they was deflecting, and they've been having a problem with me and not wanting to have comments about it.
Yeah.
So since it's such a tough topic, let's talk about how men are too strong and block our blessings a week. And let's see how far off track we get, or how many people don't want to comment. This would be an interesting, study, live study. Let's change the noun from woman to man, and let's see how everybody chime in. We could probably go about 3 days on this bashing men, or that's what it's going to turn into. And I don't think we bashing women. I said the same thing. I said, man, I don't like the way this conversation going either. But there are things that we can address that you can get something from. Honestly, I wasn't getting a lot from this conversation either. But Ryan, man, I mean, really, we would have piggybacked on Ryan and show how it worked, how it was proven that a woman can be too strong. That was an example. His wife, he gave us an example. Then he gave how it worked out. That answers your question, and then still we don't want to talk about it. I brought up the type. We don't want to talk about it.
Why do you think that is, Rico, that is so tough to have this discussion?
Well, we don't want to offend women and make women mad, man. I mean, we still like to be gentlemen. We don't like conflict. We do like peace. We don't like to make women feel like, and women know that. I mean, that's part of their charm, is knowing that, okay, well, good well, they don't want to feel like no punks. They don't want to feel like they griping or complaining. They don't want to sound like no bees. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that you go back and say, well, you know what, man, I just leave that alone, because that's going to start some trouble, and they're going to start arguing. And I get it, because they will get offended. It's hard for them to actually accept critical, what they call constructive criticism.
Yeah.
I mean, even yesterday, it was hard for people to come forward. And even in the words they said, they came out and said, yeah, you know what? Even the therapist, I'm going to leave that alone. But you had the one I respect the most. Sometimes women do have to realize they need to take the gloves off. We went through all that discussion just for that one person to say something logical. Sometimes women do need to realize that it don't hurt to take the gloves off.
Yeah.
It was that easy, but didn't nobody want to say that. Everybody wanted to talk about what the men did and the part we played in it. But she said exactly the answer to the question that you asked. So I don't know why it's so hard for people to say that, because I got aunts. I have aunties that really, man, they got this same type complex. They couldn't get certain men when they were younger, but they still hooked on that type. So since they've been grown, they've been getting taken advantage of and unhappy. And then when they meet a good man, they ain't happy. And I'm
And
like,
my whole
what you
thing-
doing? You working against yourself.
Yeah.
Trying to get cash. You missing your own blessing. The whole time you complaining and crying and miserable, you know what I'm saying? You just taking the happiness when he give you a little bit of attention, but you had a husband that did everything for you, but he just didn't fit that type that you was really attracted to. He checked every box that you needed to have a successful marriage and to raise a child and put them through college and build something what you can accomplish the American dream with, but instead you still wanted that thug. You wanted that roughneck.
And
You
my
know, so
thing
I
is
mean,
this right here. And
I think if we change it to men, we'll get a lot more participation. If we change it to how men are too strong and miss out on our blessing.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. I think it will be a situation where it becomes a beat up topic. But right now we're at 8:17. I'm gonna stay here just for a few more minutes. Then we're gonna switch totally the topic because I say this all the time, man. In order to make it somewhere, you have to be open and honest and willing to have a certain dialogue. And it's not gonna always be comfortable. And this may be a very uncomfortable place for us as men to talk about. But if we don't have the conversation, we don't have the dialogue, if we're not open and honest about what we're talking about, then certain things are not going to be eliminated. Go ahead, Mr. Hicks.
You know, I try to think about things and get a little confused sometimes with things. We're talking now about women, right? And strong women and stuff. But I go back to the discussion we had just in defining women when we were going through that judicial thing. And even now, right out there in the world, it's still an issue. It's a major issue now. What is a woman and what is a man? It's not clear. It's not clear out there. You know, can a man have a baby and all that stuff? This is stuff that's happening right now, right in our world, right at this minute. So we're asking the question now, and we all agreeing what a woman is. But when it comes down to political and the dichotomy of politics, then we can't say what a woman is. We can't even say it. You can't even verbally, you can't even answer, because I wouldn't lower myself to even answer a question like that. But that's the core of things. Reshaping our world, reshaping what words mean, reshaping what we are as human beings. So, you know, the society changed. I got married real young. First married, got married, went to prison, lost that marriage, fell, came out with a little square head, got married, and stayed married 30 years. In part, I watched how society changed, how the laws changed with the affirmative action. I mean, every time I got a job and had a woman supervising over me, I had a hard time. I had a rough time. And because I'm an old school kind of man. I come from that old school. You're not going to talk to me any kind of way. You know, you're not going to put, if you're going to act like a man, I'm going to talk to you like a man. I'm going to treat you like a man till you get that feminine kind of thing. So I had a lot of problems, especially in the social area, working with probation officers and stuff like that, and then with supervisor over me as a female. But that was a plan, because now you get a woman that's black, so you get double. You got a black woman and a minority. It works good on the statistics. So women was elevated. The whole educational system is geared toward a woman, a feminine kind of thing, just acceptance and regurgitate and repent, but not the creative mind of a man that's challenge what he's being taught and challenge the institutions. But I guess it's a difficult question, kind of thing to talk about, because I come from the old school kind of thing. It's a no good man to make a no good woman. I mean, my second wife, boy, she was a mess when I met her. She was on drugs. She was taking loops and taking everything, and I got trapped. I fell for her because she had a daughter. She know I was working with a group of kids in the neighborhood fixing up old folks' home, and I look out the window and I see this young lady come out, take this little pretty little baby with ribbons in her hair, a little bucket, and sit her down in that sand pile, and go back in the house. And when she went out, I saw this little girl fill that bucket up, turn it right over her little greasy, shiny head, right over her head. So I'm standing there watching, and I watched this young girl come out, grab this little baby by the arm, and whoop her all the way in the house. Couldn't stand it. I knocked on the door, knock. I said, look, you don't know me, and I don't know you, and I don't mean you any harm. But how do you take a baby, put her in a sand bucket with a bucket, and brush, and then she do what babies do, and you whoop her? I said, that was really wrong. And she came, and she was she had her face all twisted. She's ready to get me to read the riot act to me. But something softer than her. When I put it to her, she grabbed it. She looked at me, she looked down at her baby, and she grabbed that baby and started crying. And that touched me in the heart. Changed that fast. Someone who could hear the truth and change that fast and just as so. 2 weeks later, I'm still working in the thing. She come and say, she don't know me that well, but she got a job thing, something. Can you watch my baby for a little while?
Wow.
I didn't want to do it then, but I did. I did it as a lesson. I did it. She came back. I said, you know what? You know me 2 weeks. You don't know me. You left me with your little girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I could do to this little girl and damage her for life. And again, it was like a thing, a shock, like, oh yeah, but somebody that hadn't been taught. She didn't have a father. Her father hated her, called her ugly in Spanish. And it had called her ugly. Linda was, so she was hurt, wounded thing, but she was willing to learn from me. And I was there to teach her. I used to say this after we was married about 18, 19. So you got grown now, huh? You got grown. Now you're getting other teachers outside of yourself, other females with going through this social culture thing and wanting to be the boss, be. And it ain't going to happen here. I'm not going to do that here. I was in charge totally, and I'm not going to change it. You're going to change, or else we're going to do this thing. And that's what it was. So it got, yeah, go ahead.
No. I'm loving your story because that's a perfect example of what we're talking about right now. Because you stepped in, you came in, and you being the man that you are, you took the lead. You took the lead, and y'all together for all that time. And only thing changed was when she, after years of being together, when she started letting other influences come in and try to take over the leadership role, and she started changing, and so thus changed the relationship.
Yep. Well,
And
what
so-
changed? Yeah, what changed was the peace was gone because I wasn't bending. I wasn't changing. I'm gonna be the same. I'm gonna pay these bills. I'm gonna take care of these kids. I'm gonna lay out things. I ain't no leader. I wasn't no tyrant. Never been a tyrant like that. But I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. I want you to raise the kids. So so you find out 20 years later, 30 years later, that the kids grow up, you start talking. She presented one person to them and another person to me, and it created an air of conspiracy where the kids started keeping secrets from me too, because they watched the mom, they watched how she was, and whatever it was, it's a different picture. But when I came around, it was that submissive. Something what you say, but it wasn't honest, because there was an abortion that went along somewhere in these 30 years. That I found out later that you and I haven't dealt with that yet. I don't know how to deal with it. I know this. See, I can't go back and change the past. You can't go back and change it. I can't do nothing about it. But I know this. I don't think it's being bold, because women are the weaker vessel, and that turns to strength or whatever it is. They are some sneaky people. They are very sneaky, and they good.
Wow.
I used to be on jobs bragging about my wife. I said, oh man, I've been married 15, 20 years, man. I ain't messing around. Little girls be flirting with me. And they say, you don't know. I said, what you mean you don't know? I say, shoot, you don't know. I didn't understand that. You don't know. You don't know. But it could be a slip it could be a 1-2 minute slip in the bathroom. I mean, if a woman's got a anger you with you about your being in leadership, and she can't challenge you openly, she'll do it subtly, and you won't find it out till years later.
Exactly. Wow. Let me go to Shanavia. Shanavia, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm good. How y'all doing this morning?
Hey, doing good. Shanavia, we doing an extension because we had a guest yesterday that came in. So we doing an extension of the conversation that we had yesterday about can a woman, and I loved your stance on what you said yesterday. But can a woman be too strong and get in her own way, block her own blessing, if you will, because of the fact that she's so stuck in the role that she had to live for X amount of time, and now this bright man come along, she don't, and like you said, she don't know how to, or not willing to take off the gloves. How detrimental can that be towards the relationship?
It can be very detrimental, but to make it a little bit more personal, and this is the other half that I was talking about with the maturity, because I feel like to some degree earlier on, before I started doing my work, that's who I was slowly becoming. Because when we talk about the baggage, like, I'm going to make it very personal. I'm going to talk about me. It's going to be a little lengthy, but bear with me, y'all. I'm not going to go over my 3 minutes.
Okay.
You're talking to someone who was physically, sexually, and emotionally abused before I ever got into my first relationship.
Wow.
Then thrown into a household to where it was a war zone. And I did not, my grandmother was tough, but she didn't come from that. My grandmother stayed with my grandfather until his last breath. So she had to become tough after he died. But during their marriage, and Rodan didn't play the radio, honey. But during their marriage, she wasn't, stoned. But again, back to me. Thrown in households where it was a war zone. I credit my uncle. Y'all hear me talk about my uncle and my pop, which is my stepfather, my pop, a lot, because I credit those two men for showing me something different, showing me what a man was, not just a male. And that's no discredit to my father, who comes into the emotional piece of it. My father has always been a provider financially, but he was very much a very emotionless person, and still is, but love him with everything in me. So I could not receive anything from a male that was not my uncle. I honestly could not, because for me, I had to protect me. I had to survive. So I stayed in that mode for a minute until I got into a few relationships. And I'm just like, oh my God, why am I seeing the same pattern of the same men that hurt me? I didn't even realize the connection of the men that I was allowing into my life. They had a little bit of good, but they were very much a duplicate of my abusers.
Wow.
And I'm just like, okay, something has to change, because I felt myself hardening. I didn't have, like, if I hurt your feelings, I hurt your feelings. Until I did come across a good dude while I was in college and could not receive him because of my brokenness. And that, along with everything else, is like, okay, I got to do some work on me, because I'm requiring all these things, but am I providing these things as well? Can I live up to what I'm requiring of someone else? And that's a hard conversation to have with yourself, to look yourself in the mirror and be like, girl, you got to get it together, because you're looking for someone to come and save you and to come and correct a past that they had nothing to do with, but that they're paying for right now. And you don't see something wrong with that. And I think if any ladies are listening and on the line, I'm gonna apologize right now, because this ain't a conversation that we like to have a whole lot, but we have to accept some accountability in what we're requiring versus what we're providing versus what we want versus our own hurt and how they're still showing up today. So I had to take myself out of the game, because I didn't want to be responsible for hurting somebody else that was good and that was doing what they knew to do based off of what was taught to them, that grew up differently from me, that had a little bit more emotional stability than I did. I didn't want to be responsible for bleeding on them because I was cut.
Wow. Rico.
So as an adult, I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead, sis. I thought you was done. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'll come after you. Finish.
Because like as an adult, as a 36-year-old woman, I have a different mindset. Like, I purposely chose not to get married and have children until I had something of substance to pour into my children, and not have my children and my husband be solely responsible for healing me and pouring into me, but I had nothing to give. Now that's not to say that I don't have boundaries, and that, it's not to say that, there aren't boundaries there, and that, there isn't like a reciprocity, that would take place. But I honestly had to mature, and I had to recognize where my flaws were and be accountable for that in order for me to be able to receive whatever it is and whoever it is that God has for me. Otherwise, I 1000% would not be here. And I thank my uncle and my pop, because my uncle was that earlier set that I had that gave me that little glimmer of hope in the midst of darkness. And then my pops came in and finished the job and showed me the protection that I was wanting, the protection that I needed mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And my uncle has consistently done the same thing. But if it was not for those two men, and then showing me, and even for some of the women in my family that had healthier versions, healthier relationships and what I was looking for, and talking with them, I would not have been able to model what, okay, I need to get my stuff together. And then that relationship of hurting that guy. So that's it. That's all I got.
Good deal. That's aces. If that's all you got, that's absolutely plenty. That is plenty. Rico, go ahead, brother.
So you could have asked that question yesterday, let her come in, and then went on to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
Because that said it all right there. Once again, coming from experience and saying the key words, sometimes it's hard to hold ourselves accountable and look at ourselves and say, you know what, man, some of this is me. I got some things I need to change.
Mm-hmm.
We got some things we need to change. Sisters need to hold each other accountable sometimes, but these are hard conversations. She said it.
Mm-hmm.
And can I say this? Take Shanavia's name out of what she went through and put Rico's name in it. And change the subject to man, and I would have said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I did it, and that's why I'm celibate now. And every now and then I still suffer from reciprocity.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, I like to took myself off these streets night before last.
Mm.
I like to went back to the old me.
Mm.
This
Wow.
person that I know I don't need to be anymore. Sometimes it's hard to get away from that person because that's what you done been molded into, or that's who you have become. But when you know that's a flaw, you try to take yourself out of it.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to relationships, same thing. I'm not in the position right now to love a woman the right way because I've been loving women the wrong way. And some of it wasn't even love. It was just completely lust.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think I'm crazy about a woman in love with a woman and want to be with her. And after I sleep with her a couple of times, she's just like the rest of them. I'm bored.
Mm-hmm.
I realized I tricked myself and made myself think I wanted her, but what I was still really wanting what was in her panties.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't right yet.
Mm-hmm.
So what I had to do over the years, I had to fix myself and realize I was the problem. You know, so I'm still, and a lot of women that I talk to, they're single. I had these conversations with a lot of women that's single, man. And I listen to what they're saying, and then I'm looking at them, the ones that say they're not happy, they can't find no good man. And I'm like, man, I've been watching, I know what's going on. I'm listening to you. And it goes back to somehow not fixing yourself or not wanting to, or maybe having too high expectations.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, once again, understanding that you want that knight in shining armor, you know what I'm saying, or you want this type, this Chad or whatever, and really and truly, you missing out on all these good guys that's been coming to you,
Mm-hmm.
the hard-working men.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I saw when somebody got laughed at when they said they worked at a grocery store the other day. Not only did the women laugh at them, but the men. These were some black people,
Mm-hmm.
20-something years old. He was like, man, why y'all laughing? I got a job.
Exactly.
They bust out laughing at the man.
Mm-hmm.
Because he went out there talking to the money and sporting red bottoms. And then maybe he did have it on. I think he did fit the mold of what everybody felt like was cool, clean, or whatever, attractive. But when he said where he worked at, they laughed at him.
Whole different animal.
Who's to say that man won't be the next Walmart, the next Sam Walton?
Mm-hmm.
Starting from his grocery store position. But I mean, like I said, we saw the interview with Michael B. Jordan. That woman denied that she said what she said. Nah, we didn't say you was lame. We didn't say you was corny. I didn't say that. Oh, yeah, you did. I heard you. But she was stuck in her way. She had a picture and a frame in her mind of what was acceptable. And what was acceptable back then, Michael B. Jordan didn't fit that mold, but he kept going.
Mm-hmm.
Now she might regret that mindset. You know, maybe she could have probably been Miss Michael B. Jordan had she received him back in the day when she thought he was corny, but she got in her own way.
Exactly.
And there's plenty of times I got in my own way. You know, so that's why I said if I'm glad Shanavia called in first off, man. Cause like I said, she pretty much said everything that needed to be said. Well, we didn't even have to talk about it again today. And then number two, if she hadn't called in, it'd have been real men being men Thursday morning edition.
Yeah, exactly. Thursday morning edition. Absolutely. Anybody else have anything they want to say on this topic before we move on? Ryan, I'm surprised you ain't got nothing to say, brother. I see you over there.
I mean, there's plenty I could say, right? But I'm not the host of this show, and this ain't the Ryan hour. Okay, we could go on for a long time about that stuff, and you know, it's like I said in chat. This is not let's bash women, right? That's not the context, but it's really what the context needs to be is relationship building. I'm no pro. I can't write no books. Maybe I could, you know, but I've been through a thing or two. My wife's been through a thing or two, and we try our best as a team to help other people, build them up, show them and talk about our struggles, we got to where we are. Because ain't nobody on this planet perfect, not a single person. And if you think you are, you need to have that chat with whoever you pray to in the evening, and maybe they'll correct you. But it's really about team building. Like, that's the way that I look at my wife's and my relationship at this point. It's a team building course, and we take that class every single day. We ain't perfect. We don't fight very often, but when we do, it's ugly. And then we both feel bad, and we don't want to do that no more. So, you got to roll with punches sometimes. You got to let things roll off your back. Got to have that constructive criticism like Rico was talking about. Learn how to accept it and give it.
That's
give
good.
and take. Marriage is a job. It's a true statement. It is a job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Toya with a T, good morning. How you doing this morning? Toya, you there?
Hey y'all, good morning. How y'all doing? Sorry I'm late.
Hey, we glad you're here, sis. We glad you're here. I'm gonna ask you this question, then we're gonna move
Wait a
on.
minute, hold up.
Yes.
Hold up. What's up, bro? Wear your shirt and your tie at, Mr. Ajame.
I'm lazy today.
Isn't that Friday?
I'm lazy. I'm real lazy today, but look, I'm relaxed. It's Throwback Thursday. How about that?
Okay, Herb, we're gonna let you slide today.
We having a continuation of the conversation we had yesterday, and I want to ask you this question. Then we're gonna actually you're gonna be the last one to comment on this part. Then we're gonna move on to our next topic of the day. We're talking about women. We talked about that yesterday. Can women block their own blessing by being too strong and getting in their own way?
Right.
What do you say to that? Do you think a woman could really get in her own way? I've been doing this for so long. I've been paying the bills. I've been maintaining the house. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. And then the right man come along and he said, listen, baby, I just want to tell you, you don't have to do all that stuff anymore. I'm here to help you. Let me help you. Can she block her own blessing by being too strong?
Of course. We talked about that on yesterday. Of course she can. And of course he can too. He can abuse his privileges too. But specifically stand on the track of women, it'd be like that when you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
Again, one of the determining factors is if you are old coon or a young billy goat, baby, because young billy goats is easy to change. Now, us old dogs, I don't want to learn no new tricks, Ike. So, it really depends. But I believe that a human being, when you get hurt, and when you've been doing something a certain way for so long, no one can interfere with that. But this is the catch-22 of it. Because you've been doing it for so long, you can have a seared thinking at this point. Because now your expectation needs your standard. You want somebody to be a magician. You want somebody to be telepathic and read your mind. And that's when you're looking for too much now, sis. Now you're doing too much. Now you're trying to set an expectation that even you can't fulfill. And that's how you're going to block your blessings. You know what I'm saying? Your horse is so high, you in heaven, where you might as well go on and die because you're not down here on earth with us, rest of us people. You know what I'm saying? So I do believe, just speaking from a woman point of view, you can get in your own way, especially if you've been having to be dependent for so long on your own self. Especially, and I hate to have to go here with these brothers, if you're dealing with men who are not in a position to really help you, and you've done that so many times, by the time you get to the third broke ninja, you're not trying to hear nothing else. Just like you get to the third gold digging woman, you're not trying to hear nothing else. You're going to be set in your own way. So it's levels to relationship statuses and how we block our blessings.
Wow. That's good. Anybody have anything they want to say before we move on? Good deal. Let me start off. Toussaint, you there? Excuse me. Toussaint, you there?
I was trying to find my mute button.
Okay. We're
Still
gonna
was.
we're gonna start this next topic off with you, Tucson. And I want to ask you this question. In this world today, do you find that a lot of people are mentally lazy, whereas they don't want to even think for themselves? Somebody will come along with something and they'll jump right on board with you, and they'll run with whatever the new thing is, and they don't sit down and think about, hold on, that could be, hold on, and evaluate or think for themselves. Are we mentally, or some people mentally lazy?
If I was asked to spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, I couldn't pronounce it, but I sure enough could go to Google and make it simple.
Mm-hmm.
That's the simplest answer I can give you, because that's the easy way to do it.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about how to, spell out the words or break it up. I just go to Google. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna look at no map. Remember how we used to read a map? I still know how to read a map, because you never know when Google map will get you lost.
Yep.
You have arrived. The doggone parking lot is empty. There ain't no building here. You ever been there?
Many times.
I have. You have arrived. Shut up, woman. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Lord Jesus, you cussing out.
And then
you cussing out Sarah.
you turn it off. Let me tell you. You reboot it and check with Google Map again. Get the same thing. It's easy to do that. We live in this society now that you can find out anything. I got a nephew. He's so sharp. He bought 2 cars, one for the engine and one for the body. And I think he was 12, 13, something like that. And he rebuilt the car in his mother's garage.
Mm.
It can be a good thing and a bad thing. But to figure it out step by step, most of us, we don't even want to try it. Too much. Matter of fact, we talked about relationships. We don't even want to learn. Man, look, I can go online and get me a mail order bride, because I don't want to meet nobody I have to figure out. This is where we are. I mean, that's you ask me. That's what my reply is.
Good deal.
We mentally, we're lazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Toy, what does he talk to me? Are we mentally, or some people? I'm not gonna say we, but are a lot of people mentally lazy?
Yeah, you did right by saying we. That's what leaders do. They don't single out people. They address us as a we. And, we're not gonna divide the human race up again. Yes.
Exactly.
They lazy. We are lazy. We are lazy in so many ways. Some of us are so lazy mentally, it spills out into the physical and your whole body lazy.
Wow.
Just being 100. Nobody wants to do anything anymore. Men don't want to play their role. Women want to be the men. And then even though you want to be the man, you still don't want to do the work. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to play their role anymore. But everybody wants something, the most of something they can get for nothing, right? Men want the woman to be with just them, but don't want to maintain the responsibility that it takes for her to be with just them, and vice versa. You want this man to be this knight in shining armor, this Prince Charming, but you the Wicked Witch of the West.
Come on
with the jokes. Like nobody wants to play their role. Everybody want Mega Million money, but you don't even want to play the lotto. Like I don't get people. Like the mentality of people today, it's like lazy to the bone. It starts off with the mental on how you want the other person to do so much, but you don't. You know what I'm saying? The question was mental health. Oh, Well, no, we was talking about mentally are people lazy, and I went into the trajectory of not only are they lazy mentally, their whole body lazy. You know what I mean? Mothers that want to have kids, but you don't want to feed them. What?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mothers who have kids, but you don't want to take the time to make sure that you taught them fortitude because you're so busy trying to be so different than your parents who fed you vegetables, who gave you rules, and then you have all these damn babies and you don't want to do that. Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do that to them. Oh, I'm trying to be different. No, you're lazy, hoe. Excuse me.
Good Lord. No, look at. Do I need to hit my mute button?
No, I'm gonna put my dunce cap on and I'm gonna wrap it up right here. Not only men, but women. The 2023 era of people have checked out and they no longer know their roles, positions, and responsibilities. In some kind of way, we have to come up with clear and defined visions of who we are and what we're going to be, because right now the roles are all mixed up and everybody doing what they want to do, and it's backwards. It's all outdoors.
Exactly. Mr. Hicks. Mr. Hicks, you there?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Mr. Hicks, are we mentally lazy? Do we think for ourselves? Or do we just a lot of times just follow the norm or whatever it is out there that's going on at that particular time, attach our wagon to it and ride down until it stops, then attach our wagon to something else? Are we mentally lazy? Do we really think for ourselves?
Well, some of us,
Mm-hmm.
not all of us, but the majority of us, you know, I look at what's coming out now about the January 6th thing and about the Twitter files with all that went on the last few years. And I think that if people would have been looking critical, things would have turned out a whole lot different. At least would have had a different view on things. Mm-hmm. But I think people just follow what the program said. Whatever the crowd is saying, whatever all the talking heads. You ever seen that kind of thing where they'll show all the different stations and they all be using the exact same word? We consider this a very bad, and you go, everyone is saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they say it over and over on a loop. Then we get on these podcasts and forth and have the same talking heads come, the same kind of things, and being too lazy to go beyond television news. With the internet, the access we have to foreign news correspondents and all kind of other people look from the outside in on these things. But we just lazy. We just take what they tell us on the television.
Mm-hmm.
That The View is a perfect example. The View and all, you know, it's like, so it's crazy. It's so phenomenal. I mean, it's like Schumer getting in front of the thing and saying the thing he do. Trump still saying the thing. Everybody, and it's like people just waiting to see which way the wind blow.
Yeah.
So they could join the crowd.
Harry Hippie.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. How can I help you, Harry, when you're sleeping on the ground?
Come on now, you know about that Harry Hippie? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me go to Ryan. Ryan, what's on your heart, brother? What do you say to that, man? Are we mentally lazy? Do we not want to do the research for ourselves and find out what we need to find out and find out what the truth is, or the truth that we want to accept? Are people mentally lazy?
100%, without a shadow of a doubt, yes. There is no question to that. Yeah, there's some of us out there that are not mentally lazy, but the vast majority of people now are lazy, mentally lazy. They don't want to research nothing. They just want to take what the TV puts in their face and accept it as a fact. They want to type it in on Google, and because the fact checker said it's good, accept that as a fact. But they don't ever dig into the multiple layers of what goes on behind fact checking. Who owns that fact checker? Which side of the aisle owns that fact checker? Those people are owned. They are paid just like statistic people, just like anybody that comes up with an article. They can be bought and sold just like everybody else. So they will tell you what you want to hear and what they want you to believe. And just like this show, You know, we talk about certain things and all of a sudden you get disconnected. It's
Yeah.
the same thing on the web. You start talking about real things and all of a sudden the algorithm changes and you can't get found. That's
Mhm.
what happened to Tulsi Gabbard. She was a Democrat who was running for president back in the day. And she had such a strong following, they canceled her on the internet. You couldn't do no searches on Tulsi Gabbard in the States and find any of her statements, any of her videos, any of her speeches. You had to have a VPN and go outside of the country if you wanted to know who Tulsi Gabbard was. They were scared of that woman.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even talk about her now.
Yeah, they still don't want to talk about her. And she's a potential running mate for everybody's least favorite candidate.
Yes.
So, you know, and I'm not trying to turn this into a political talk, right? But it ties in. It ties in. And I, you know, I know it's a lot of people in here who dislike Trump, whatever. I'm not trying to do this whole pro-Trump thing, right? But, and I'm gonna say it like this. Of course, my work phone is ringing. I'm gonna have to cut myself short.
Okay.
I'll finish for you.
Ms. Hicks, you gonna say something?
Well, I think again that talks about the laziness of are we lazy? To really evaluate and to be critical. For instance, you remember in this podcast, I had a lot of slack for everybody in this thing saying that wasn't an insurrection, coming from a military point of view. Now it's going through the legal process. They legally won't define it at that. And with these recent kind of things they released about that January 6th, you see that it wasn't what they said it was. And you also see that somebody allowed it to happen. And it was FBI agents involved in the thing. But the point is, we're so lazy and we hate that other guy so bad. They didn't pay him. They made him a bad guy. But they do that with everybody. They tried to do it with Ali. They'll do it with anybody. Kanye West. Anybody that come and want to speak a truth that's not following along with the agenda.
Wow.
But right now, I'm done.
Okay, good deal, good deal. We got a lot of people I know that want to speak on this topic right here, man. I was waiting to get to it.
Sure.
Ryan, are you back? I want you to finish your
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
Finish your thought.
Let me finish my thought because I got to do this interview and then I'll be back. What I was going to say, just like Mr. Hicks, right? So when they took Trump to trial on that second impeachment, go watch it. You don't take my word for it. Don't be mentally lazy. Go watch it for yourself on C-SPAN, whatever. It's still out there where they said that this man did X, Y, and Z, said X, Y, and Z to start people rioting on the Capitol, right? But in court, in front of everyone, his defense team played what the prosecutor said he did, played the videos of him saying the things that they said he said, and it all matched up until his defense team came out and said, let's play the unedited copies of these videos. And then all of a sudden it was, oh snap, he didn't do any of that stuff. It's all right here, live on TV. They just cut and pasted. They created fake Twitter accounts to say certain things, and they called that out. Like they did all of these things. And that's my point, is not to say, hey, you should support Donald Trump. What I'm saying is you got to do the research. You have to do the research. Because they're just going to tell you what they want you to hear, because they have an agenda that they have to meet. They have to sway your mind to do what they want you to do and believe what they want you to say. Like how they come out now and say, oh, men can have that cycle during the month too. Get out of here with that garbage.
Okay, good deal. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things, and I wish you was able to stay, because I know some people have some things they want to say to what you just said in regards to the Trump situation. Let me go to Rico. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Hey, can you come to me next again if Navy on the phone, because I know she have to work too, and she only talk one time. So go ahead and get her. Then I go next.
Now how you gonna dictate my rotation, man?
Because I know she's crushed for time. And you don't call me a couple of times since then. You'll call a few people a couple of times since she talked. I'm just being fair because I know you don't want to lose her.
There you go. You heard it, but that's good though, man. You know, I got to pick at you, Rico. But Shanivia, what's on your heart? What do you say about this whole thing? Are we mentally lazy? Are we mentally lazy?
I to be honest with you, I really didn't have too much other than what had already been said. But thank you, Rico, for that, because I'm pulling up to work now. But no, the only thing that I'm going to add, I mean, I'm just going to echo what's already been said. Yes, we are. We live in a microwave society. Pretty much any and everything that we want is just about at our fingertips. And no, we don't take the time to research. I mean, so much so to where Facebook and TikTok has become reliable resources for some people, you know, and I'm going to end with this just to show how much we really don't take the time to think for ourselves and think independently and do the research or any of that. Because I had someone that came into my office yesterday that pretty much had already diagnosed themselves and was like, and I don't want any medication because I saw an article on Facebook that said that this particular medication can make you gay. And I'm just like, dude, get out of my office at this point, because ain't no way you just said that. Please pull up the article. It wasn't even like an actual article. But this is the society that we live in. So much so to where we will believe a bogus article on Facebook, use TikTok to diagnose yourself, and come into my office and tell me what I should give you, why I should give it to you, what your diagnosis is. You really just came here because your mom made you, and a medication has the ability to make you gay. Get out of here. So that's it. Wow. That's all I got. Y'all have a great day.
You do the same, sis. Let me go to Toya with a T, then we're going to circle back around to you. Toya with a T, what's on your heart, sis?
Well, yeah, you know, this world, that's what it is, though. That's what influence is all about. That's what television is all about. That's why people come up with the depictions that they do of Black people from watching different depictions of who and what we are. So we don't want to go find out how that person is. We're going to take somebody else's word for it. And I'm scared to even mention what I mentioned in the chat online, because we're going to get, yeah, you know, because, you know, when they were saying, hey, everybody put masks on. Hey, you need to get this because, you're going to die. Your body ain't going to be able to take that off by itself. My thing is, if we're living in a systematic world or systematic states, how can we trust their research?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if this system is designed to put us in a certain position, then we're just running on a rat wheel. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to be careful when it comes to us saying, you know, we're going to research the same ones that dragged us on boats and did all this stuff, information to try to make sure if we're right or not. Now, what we need to get back to doing, I'm just a certain kind of individual. I'm a God being. And if I got something going on, I'm going to go to God. And he's going to make sure everything that I need, I'm going to get. And that's how I've learned recently to guide myself. Not through the state, not through the images of white people who destroyed my people. No, they didn't just up today and said they like me now. You understand what I'm saying? So when it comes to researching specific information, when it comes to us identifying the fact that they have influences against us, they're becoming gay some kind of way. They're becoming ruffian some kind of way. They're becoming mentally challenged some kind of way. And the best way to play a God is to make sure to put the issue out there and come with the cure if I've created it. So we have to be really careful when we're talking about American values, American research, and American systems and forms, because keep in mind, just like your job is created to keep you in a box and do what they want you to do according to policies and procedures, it's the same way with being a citizen in America. So we got to be real careful researching their information and get back to researching our own and building our own system that's going to be conducive to us and not for them. Just saying.
Exactly. Rico, talk to me, brother. Cap, come to you next.
Yeah, man. I agree with what everybody's saying on this, man. I mean, You know, the most important thing to a brain is knowledge and information.
Come on.
And the smartest people in the world know that for them to complete their agenda, if they got the mind to think about control and power, is to control the information and knowledge that they put into a brain, what they feed people with. So now we live in a society where at first they didn't want you to have access to information and education. Now they want you to have access to all the information, even the false stuff, false flags, conspiracies. So now with all this access to information that you got, you ain't got enough time in the day to read everything. So sometimes what we might do, or sometimes what I might do, I'll read the headlines and make an assumption, like a dummy.
Yep.
But someone tell me, go back and read this story. Go back and read it, because the way the headlines read, you would assume that this is they have an intention with giving you the headline a certain way, so it can attract your attention. It could be sensational, but if you addicted and hooked like they intend on human beings being, you're just gonna read the headline and move on to the next one. Or maybe when you read, you only see certain words that fit your narrative, and the other stuff you just gloss over that because that ain't pertaining to what you want to hear or what you want to see in the information. And some people don't even know how to receive information the right way, so they'll skip over certain things. You ever seen two people take a test, they read from the same book, but one person get the answer wrong? They get something else right. Or you ever seen somebody open up a newspaper, but they don't like nothing but the comic section and the sports section? They only reading what they want to read. So I mean, you know, we are a species of addicts addicted to what we like and convenience and an overabundance of information. And it's hard trying to discern what's true conspiracy and what's false conspiracy. But then you have to go and start using a little common sense. You know, you had a lot of people way before it was revealed that there were 2 bullets to kill Kennedy. You had a lot of people saying that from the very beginning. Wait a minute, from my investigation and research, looked like a bullet came from here in the campus. They gave us a narrative on how John F. Kennedy died, gave us a narrative on how Martin Luther King died. Then you start hearing all these other conspiracies. But then when you look at it and you say, well, you know what? According to what my eyes told me, JFK body did go in 2 different directions. So how did they get away this long with leaving that false information out there as the truth that it was 1 bullet that did it until they opened up some classified files? I mean, sometimes we'll see it with our own eyes. And then believe the narrative that they gave. 9/11, weapons of mass destruction, and then these people, Vietnam. They bombed the American ship in the Gulf of Tonkin. They attacked us for little bit of Vietnam, struck out against the big mighty imperial power of the United States. And now we got a carpet bomb. I mean, killed 2 million Cambodians and people in Khmer Rouge. And I mean, misinformation. And then on the top of it, hiding information. And planting information and putting in plants and killing people like Fred Hampton. I mean, man, and you'll get the narrative that they want you to have. So sometimes you have to dig and do the research, use some common sense, but at the same time, take your biases out of it. Because with a lot of white people, they can see a lot of stories and a lot of information, and being that they already have their mind made up that racism doesn't exist anymore, they'll never see Black people's point of view until they read the Nixon report themselves about the war on drugs. And then they say, oh my God, y'all been telling the truth the whole time? The information been out there. We told you, you saw it, but you didn't believe it until the government confirmed, yep, we was trying to tell Black families with the war on drugs. That's what it was all about. Oh my God, y'all Black people ain't using the race card. So it's hard to discern that. It's even hard to discern when somebody using the race card for truth or when they're just using it as a card to, you know, deflect and get away with something. Researching and finding out, proving evidence. You know, so and I don't want to just speak on people. I'm gonna say me. I'm one of them. I would do it in a heartbeat. I'll read that headline and say, oh my God, this is terrible, and share it. Have an opinion. Go back and read it and be like, boy, look at me. I sound like a fool then. These jokers trick me.
Rico,
So,
didn't
you
you
know,
say
it's
something
an
about it? Didn't you say
overabundance of
something?
information, man.
Hey, Rico, didn't you say something a few years ago about, I think when you was doing your show, about the research that you had did on HIV or something like that, and it said one thing, then you went back and and did some research on you and found out that you had been saying it the wrong way or saying about how it spread or something
Yes,
like
sir.
that? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Have been spreading the wrong information the whole time. Information that I got from people that work at the AIDS clinic.
Mm-hmm.
Then I met another one that was higher up. They counted everything. They said, you've been wrong the whole time. Men can get it from women.
Yep. Yep. Wow. Wow. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. We're having this discussion and we're asking the question, are we mentally lazy? Are we in this society today? Are we mentally lazy? Do we think for ourselves or do we let other people guide our thought patterns? We're going to go Captain, Cassandra, and then Badger. Cap, what's on your heart?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't think we're mentally lazy. I think we're mentally dead. We're mentally dead. There's an old saying, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. We changed that saying. That's white people telling black people, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. We're changing that narrative by saying to white people who give us that was not created by black people.
Mm-hmm.
That a mind is a terrible thing to steal.
Wow.
I'll say that again. A mind is a terrible thing to steal. You can't waste what you don't have. There's an old story, and I'm going to tell this joke. There was a man, he had to get a new brain. This is a joke. And the guy went to the brain surgeon and said, so the surgeon said, well, sir, to the black man, he said, well, you just going to have to replace your old brain. He said, well, where am I going to get a brain at? He said, go down the street to the clinic. They sell brains. So the man said, for real? So he goes down to the clinic, and it's this display. There's the white man's brain, there's the Jewish man's brain, Chinese brain, and there's the black man's brain. So, of course, he went to the white man's brain. He said, how much is that? He said, that's about $1 million. He said, oh, snap. He said, well, let me go down to level 2. He said, what if I just Jewish brain? Oh, that's a nice one there. That's about $1.5 million. So he thinking the numbers should go down. So he, well, let me go down. So he looked at the Asian brain. And then he didn't want to ask, well, what the heck? How much is that black man's brain? He said, oh my God, that's about $5 million. He said, what? He said, why is the black man's brain more valuable than the rest? He said, because it's never been used.
Wow.
It's never been used.
Wow.
How could we say that we mentally lazy? We are only good. The American people are only good as the information that they're given. I heard Rico, I heard everybody, Sister T, telling the history. Liars. Liars. Dr. Fauci now has been brought up in a cover-up about COVID. We always knew he was a liar. But here's a man that had covered up COVID. He knew about it. He was part of it. Then he was the same man that forced everybody to get the shot, get the shot, get the shot, get the shot. And we believed in him. Marvin Hagler got the shot, he died. Hank Aaron got the shot, he died. Not everybody died that got the shot. But how can you believe a liar?
Mm-hmm.
Now he's a liar. Now you have to question, oh my God, I took that shot. And the man lied. What else did he lie about? So we're talking about mentally lazy. We can't be mentally lazy when we ain't got nothing. We're mentally, spiritually dead.
Wow.
The people are dead. They don't have truth that would nourish their thinking. They're nourishing their minds off of lies, thieves, robbers, murderers, kidnappers. And you ask the question, are we mentally lazy? No, we are mentally dead.
Mm.
That's all I got to say.
Wow. Wow. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, are we in this society in which we live in, are we mentally lazy? Do we actually think for ourselves, or do we just attach our wagon to something that's going in a certain direction and then stay on that wagon until it stops, then attach our wagon to something else that may be going in a totally different direction? What do you say to that? Are we mentally lazy?
Yeah, I believe we're mentally lazy. I mean, I described it very well. I do believe what he says. I think that we, well, a lot of us, because I'm not a follow the crowd type person. And I think everyone should have their own opinion. Whatever
Yes.
you believe is what you believe.
Yes.
But I do my own research. If somebody tells me, the sky is blue, I'll do my own research and say whether the sky is blue. So I've never been a follower. That's where some of us make our mistake. We go along with the go along just to get along, and I've never been that person. So I'm that rebel. I think outside the box. I don't think inside anybody's box. I don't care whether people like me or don't like me.
Yeah.
And I believe that most people do just that. They're lazy. They will go along to get along, and I won't do that. So yeah, we are lazy.
Wow. And that's a very, very sad reality, man, to think that we're not willing to go out there and do the research and think for ourselves. Because I might not agree with you, but if I just go along with what you say and I find out later on down the line that I don't even agree with this, why am I that doesn't make sense to me. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Morning.
Badger, are we mentally lazy?
It's hard for me to say. Okay. Last night, I ended up having a conversation with a decent group of people about about presidents. And I showed the evidence that a president no longer has power in America. They're literally nothing but a puppet or a face. And that's all they are. They can't veto. Their executive orders only last 90 days, and so on. And I was like, what is the point of having an election for a president if they aren't in charge of anything? Over half of the people in that call, even when presented the facts, the evidence from from our government itself, straight from their websites, National Archives and the works, they still wanted to believe the president had power. So that's what we're looking at in a lot of ways, is we are fed so many lies and misconceptions and misdirections, falsehoods, that it's hard to know what the truth is anymore.
So I guess with you saying that, you're saying that people are mentally lazy because they're not doing the research to find out things for themselves.
Do you have... I'm torn on this because the amount of research that it requires to find out some things is very dependent on if our government even allows it on the internet. So it could be there are a lot of lazy people that don't want to put in the work. They want to be able to believe what they're being told. So when I call it the looking through life with rose-colored glasses. You know, that everything's positive and honky-dory and our government does no wrong attitude. So I don't know if that would be considered lazy. Just to be honest, if that's what can be considered lazy, then I would have to agree with that 100%, because there is so many things that you can. Rico talking about the JFK stuff. Did you know that it was actually released in the National Archives that the CIA knew about all this information that just so happened to got released there in 9/11? And because people were focused on 9/11, they didn't know that this was publicly released and that they can literally look it up through our government National Archives.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, like, so there are things out there that you can go research, but then there are things out there that they have purposely kept hidden that you ain't gonna find on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's to me, it's a mixture of laziness and dealing with people that are in charge that don't want us to know things.
Good deal.
Look
Good
at the
deal.
mental health. Our
Mm-hmm.
mental health is horrible in this country unless you got money.
Good deal. We got to keep it moving. Got to keep it moving. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Asking the question, are we in the society that we live in today? Are we mentally lazy? Are we mentally lazy? Do we want to do the research? Do we want to take the time to find out what the truth is? Or get as close to the truth as we can? Well up.
Good morning, Raheem.
Good
morning, Morning Glow.
Good morning, sis. How you doing this morning?
Raheem, I am doing fine. I'm awesome this morning.
Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. Throwing the question at you, sis. Are we in this society? Are we mentally lazy? Do we want to go out there and find out what, quote unquote, the truth is, or get as close to the truth as we can? Or do we want to just attach our wagon to somebody that's going in any direction and go with the flow? Harry Hippie type situation. What do you say to that?
I'm going to say, yes, Raheem. I'm going to say that because when I look at my inner circle, and that's what I have to go by, I can't say everybody's like that because I believe that there are some people who do take the time to research. For example, when we talk about something, Badger right away, he wants to get on his computer and research it to find out more stuff about whatever it is that we've been doing. But has he always been like that? I don't know. But I know when I was coming up and going to school, was I lazy in school? Probably was, because I had other things that I wanted to do. So yeah, is that like a secondary from a human standpoint that most human beings do? I'm going to say yes, because we're always piggyback on the crowd. What everybody, somebody else then came up with the theory, and then we jump and piggyback on what they say instead of researching it. But I can say now in my life, now when as I study it, because I am a minister, I have to be able to research those things and dig deeper, because the responsibility of me having the knowledge and the information that I need has to be a fact. So I have to dig deeper now. So yeah, I'm going to say it's something that it's a choice that we have to choose to do in life. But do we do it? No, I'm going to say, no, we don't. It always has to be something to push us up.
Wow.
And that's what I'm going to say. That's what's on my heart, Brian.
Good deal. Good deal. Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Hey, good to have you, brother. Asking the question, man, in this society, as I'm not going to say as a whole, but do you think a lot of people, some people, are mentally lazy, don't want to go out there and find out, don't want to do the research, just want to go with the flow? What do you say to that?
Yes and no. It's just about 50-50. It's not a priority to some people to know everything. What makes you think you're going to know everything, or you should know everything? Some people do just as well to live a life and pay attention to what actually affects them. You can't be always, how you call them, busybodies?
Yeah.
They're just into everything.
You
have to find out for yourself what is true. This notion that you should ever have believed someone that absolutely is ridiculous. To me, anyway. I've never been a follower like that. What my very best friends can tell you. There's some things that you're gonna get a fight about.
Yeah.
You just walking up to me telling me something don't mean it's true. Where's the evidence? I don't even get out of turn if people lie, because it's their right to lie if they want to lie. It's my responsibility to adhere to the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't. I don't have that feeling where people, well, just because somebody told me something, I believe it. No, not even my parents. Because they didn't encourage that. They didn't educate me that way. They educated us to always question.
Yeah.
For yourself. Never take a man's word for something if he don't have no evidence. Because if you start making decisions off what somebody else said, You think they're gonna let you go? You get in some trouble because somebody else told you to do something? You think that's sufficient?
No.
You think, I have to get on my sons all the time. I ask them, when you see, but why'd you do this? I don't know. Then that's why you shouldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly why you shouldn't have done it. Because you didn't know nothing. And now you're sitting here looking stupid. And your defense is, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Who can trust a person like that? Why would you follow someone like that?
Mm-hmm.
You teach your kids that, one, just because somebody say something don't mean it's true. It's not to be negative, but it's to make sure that you're searching for the truth in the matter.
Mm-hmm.
On everything that's in your power, you should know, if you can know it. You can't sit around and think, well, the Secretary of Defense should have told me what he was going to do yesterday. No, he shouldn't. No, he shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna never know everything. That's one of the parts about learning, is when you realize you ain't gonna know everything.
Mm-hmm. It's good. That's good. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Ask them a question. Are we mentally lazy? Toy, you want to talk to me, sis?
Yeah, we is. And yeah, I used to be. Hey, y'all.
Hey, there she go. There she go.
And now, I only believe what God tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't hear him? That's a problem. That means it's too much man-made stuff in your head if you don't hear him. Mm-hmm. When I tell you he broke me all the way out of that, oh, stop thinking, oh, you done read all these books. Oh, you done got educated. Oh, so you can't hear me now, huh?
Well, you smart now, huh?
Oh, yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm outsmarting who he really is.
Mm-hmm.
So now when miracles don't happen, oh, science. Can't even explain a miracle. So see, you can be whatever kind of being you want to be in this world. You can be ran by humans. You can be ran by these books. You know what kills me? What kills me is when I talk about the Holy Bible, which is a book, and then somebody come with another book talking about his research against that book. Come on with the jokes. I listen to God and what he say. Because once upon a time, the book said that I was less than a human. One time, the book said that I was a slave.
Mm-hmm.
One time, the book said I was inferior to you. I was property. One time, the book said, oh, you're a woman. You're not going to be able to do this, that, and the third. And all them doggone books got changed. By who? So what I've learned in my life, when it comes to research, I go directly to God. Now, again, God broke me out of this, right? Because when we started going through this, I got the Egyptian Bible, I got the Egyptian book, the Quran, the Bible, encyclopedias, all man-made books, all still led back to it being a God. So I'm skipping the middlemen and I'm going straight to the source.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, we humans could keep walking around here playing like we don't know we humans. Like we don't know, we tell one person the ball is yellow, and by the time we get to the 11th person, it's going to be orange.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, when it comes to research, he has given us dominion over what we put out and what we call facts. And when I get done getting this PhD, you know why I'm getting it? Because they teach you a fundamental way of developing your facts. And when you're a doctor, they say what you say, go. So let me go ahead and get it too. Does it mean that what I'm saying is true? It's going to be factual because society has given me a label. They've given me dominion that God already gave me. And they said, well, you're a doctor, so what you say is facts.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you straight from the source, what God say trumps all of our facts. So we sit here and keep playing with these humans if we want to. That's going to be the word that got to save you in your time of need. I love y'all. Gotta go. Bye.
Love you too, sis. Let me go. We're gonna go Hicks, Toussaint, and Cassandra. Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart, brother?
Yes, sir. I that Toya too. I love her, boy. She all right with me. We go to battle together. I run. We storm the wall, me and her.
Right, Hicks.
I see. I see a consciousness. I see a waking up. I don't know if so much as that we've been lazy, but I think we've been under a spell. I think the powers that be are magicians, and they weave their wares real fine. But I was watching some things happening with these kids that are coming to the world, these savant kind of children, 3 and 4 years. I see them on TikTok sometime. I mean, like 4 months old, doing the alphabets and repeating things. I think that there's intelligence behind everything that's happening that works out for all the good that could be. It's like a thing. Toya said it. I think I read so many books. I got so caught up in books that I got lost.
Wow.
The more I learned, the more confused I was. I was talking with Rico yesterday. We had a conversation, and I was saying I learned something within the last couple years. I quit a job. I quit a marriage behind this whole COVID and masks and mandate, all this stuff. And I think that I've learned now whether myself or what's coming, because it's finna come again. It's another election cycle. They finna do this thing again. I'm not gonna get caught up in trying to prove what God has shown me and trying to make somebody else see it and getting caught up in that kind of thing and trying in this marriage that fell, the thing that really got me, because I would put the material in front of this person. I would go back and get scripts and say, here. So at least, I'm not saying agree, but I mean, just that thing you got, that hatred you got, just that hatred, hating somebody, that hate is hate, period.
Yeah.
And it's hard to live with that, but then you understand all the talking heads are giving you the real points and you saying what they say. I got it. You've been here, but it's hard to live with that. So rather than live with that, my point is, if you make a choice not to learn, I'm out of here. If I'm on a job and y'all keep changing things every day, one day I got to shoot me in my head, test my temperature. I got to ask you a question. I quit the job then. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'll make my way, because I believe, because this source, this spirit thing that happened to me made me know that long as I do my best and stand up on my truth, I'm going to be all right.
Yes, sir.
Whether I go to jail, whatever, he's going to work it out. It's going to work out for me. And that's what, it don't come from the books. It don't come from television. It comes from getting in my closet and getting silent and going deep inside myself and touching that place that makes me feel a love that I can't judge, and stop judging people. That's my hardest thing, judging people. Just look at myself and work on that, because I know that's here. I've experienced what you can't explain a miracle, but I've witnessed them in my life. I know they're real. I watched it. I've seen it. There's a power greater than we are, and it's a mystery.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go chasing things. Things will fall right to you. They'll come right to you. If you try to keep it real, be fair. That's my whole thing all the way through this thing. Just be fair. Be honest. Don't just be biased. Don't buy into a camp. Stand and be critical thinking and be fair. Look for fairness. Look for people to treat people right.
That's good. That golden rule, man, always apply, and it's always it always fit. Treat others the way you want to be treated. That's the golden rule, man. It works. It works. It really does. Toussaint, what's on your heart? And Cassandra, coming to you next.
You say to search out the real truth or something to that effect. It'll just go ahead.
Are we mentally lazy? Are we mentally lazy?
Yeah, I heard it. And so when you talk about even finding out what the truth is, it's easy to just believe somebody else.
Yeah.
That's the easiest. Is just find out, well, what you say. Tell me what your thinking is. You tell me what I should be thinking. Why? That's too hard. Won't you give me your thoughts, and then I can operate from there? Let's do that. Isn't that easier? Why I have to study, or what we say research, study, whatever you want to call it. I can just believe what the preachers say and go to heaven. You know, ain't that easier?
Yeah.
I don't have to find out what God wants me to know. I just take his word for it. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I don't even have to have a relationship with him if we want to go in that direction. That's just the direction I want to go, because you asked me what's on my heart. Why I just don't get where I'm trying to get off of mama's back,
Mm-hmm.
or what daddy know about it. That's easier. Why should I have to dedicate my life to anybody that somebody that I never will see? Maybe what's good is easier to take up somewhere daddy left off,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be good. I don't have to live right there. I'm good with that. I'm a seed of Abraham. That's good. I'll do that. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, most of us have just gotten to the point that we realize we've been believing a lie all this time.
Mm-hmm.
For centuries. We have believed something somebody else said.
Mm-hmm.
Out of
Wow.
a book that's a good book, but they manipulated it to even make us feel like we're less than. That's what they said.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to believe that I'm a check with master mentality.
Wow.
That's almost crazy.
Almost.
Then got to the point that I'm discovering that that's sad. Cap said something that we're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you remember the old song, Freedom? Before I be a slave, I'd be rested in my grave. Some of us might as well just be buried.
Wow.
We can't shake that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we believe it's easier to believe that America was great at one point. I can't call you that.
Good deal. Good deal. Cassandra?
Yeah, and when no, we can all read the same information, book, whatever, how you get it, on same story on the internet or whatever, and multiple people that read that same thing will get different interpretations. I mean, the same information.
Yeah. Yeah.
In your mind, you'll see one thing, I'll see another thing, somebody else will see something else. And I'm just, because I refuse to just live my life being consumed with stuff that's gonna tear me down, wear me down, all this crazy stuff. I want to take the Leonard mentality. Mm-hmm. If it fits and it works for you, go with it. I mean, I've always been. I don't want you to believe something just because. Either if I give you information and you don't receive it, or you don't believe it, what am I supposed to do about that? That's on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think some of us are so consumed with what other people, getting other people to believe your narrative that you consume your life with that. I don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
My life is too short. My life is too important for me to spend my life trying to figure out whether you going to believe what I say or whatever. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe it, fine. If you don't, fine. That's like the gospel. It's a free will thing. Ain't none of us on here can make nobody except Jesus Christ is the person who said, if you give them information and they say, hey, man, I don't believe that stuff don't sound right, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's life is too short. We spending our life too much focusing on some of the craziest stuff that ain't gonna do you no good and ain't gonna change your life, but you're consumed with it.
Mm-hmm.
I won't do that. I refuse to do that.
Wow, that's good. That's good. We're gonna go in this order right here. We're gonna go Rico, Cap, Leonard, and then Badger. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, I think, man, people are they stuck on being hooked on what they're intrigued by.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people are interested in what they're interested in. And so it's hard to get people distracted from that. You know, like how it's hard to get people to vote.
Yep.
Even though it's important that we go and vote. You know, but if you mention a concert or a club, you could pack it out.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a convention to raise money for something important or to talk about important issues, the crowd may be real small. But then if you have another event that has to do with a lot of fun, then, you know, you might have a big turnout. So, yeah, we are distracted. We are species distracted by pleasure, influence, definitely influence, and the fact that we like to feel good. You know, so it's like, you know, sometimes it's time to sit down and have important conversations about your health, life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how many people die without a will?
Yep.
They never sat down and had that conversation. But they took plenty of trips across the world and all across the country, and they got all type of memories and things they can talk about. And they done made all the money. Oh man, I done did this, I did that. Didn't have a will, don't have insurance, and people out here talking to the money. And then when the kids is talking to the money, or the people that's talking to the money get something done to them, because there's another issue that's not being addressed, like maybe drill music and the influence of media. Like we talking about it now, and then sometimes we like to deny the impact or influence of video games and music and television. But then we actually spoke about how mentally lazy we are and distracted, under a spell. You know, I say that all the time, under a spell, and we aren't focused. You know, Cassandra just said that. Sometimes we focus on the most simple things, while the most important things are just sitting by being overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
And many times, even on this broadcast, you can hear people make some very important points, but you can tell it's being overlooked because at that point in time, that ain't what people are really interested in. Maybe they just here to have a little fun, or maybe they're not here to be that serious. But there are many points that get overlooked, and really and truly, sometimes somebody might say something, and then the next person will come right back and ask the question, and the person before they answered it. Before they even, if you were listening, you wouldn't even ask that question.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe you didn't understand. So we don't, you know, we focus. We have a problem with being infected. This brain computer that we have is infected with so much abundance of information to the point of where we don't know what we want to watch. Whether we love entertainment though. You know, we'll make somebody go viral for saying something sensational or doing something self-deprecating, and also make them rich and famous. But at the same time, somebody that's actually talking about health and something to help you live longer, something that's very important, they won't even get a share.
Yep. Exactly.
So you can see we're very distracted. This brain computer has been infected with all types of viruses, bugs, and spam. And we having to try to dissect and discern and take all the good information out of it. But it's so hard when you got that little box to type in what you want to go look at. And you can go look at something that makes you feel good, or go look at something that you know is important, but you just don't feel like addressing it right now. Most of the time, people are going to go to what makes them feel good.
Exactly. And yeah, and that's truth. That's truth right there. Let me go to Cap. What's on your heart? Cap, you there?
Can you come back to me? You can't believe it. I'm going to CSA at the airport.
Okay, that's fine. We'll come back to you. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Got another caller, two callers. We'll come to you in just a second. Leonard, what's on your heart? What's on your heart, brother?
Oh, mustard and turnip green.
Bring me some. Bring me some. Put some what's that? Smoked turkey necks in it too. Put some smoked turkey necks. Yeah, yeah.
Sure. But you know, I have always been so thankful for God blessing me with great parents My dad died when I was young, but and you know he was a minister and all this, and my mother was very much in the church. But there was a balance. You can't just go crazy over everything you hear.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just open your spirit up and allow every wicked spirit into your temple. So one, you have to practice
Yes.
Yeah.
your
Yes.
your spiritual self defense.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yes.
more to self defense than just physical.
Mm.
So you have to catch wickedness at that the moment you feel it. You got to deal with it.
Mm.
Because if somebody can just walk up and tell you anything, come on, you got to do some work. You got
Yep.
to get in the gym. You got to work yourself out. You'll get yourself together. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's some people
Yeah.
out here will get it together for you. So
Yeah.
it's like this whole mentality that I'm gonna do whatever you say and this, that, and I'm loyal to you. Lord, what are you loyal to?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be held accountable. Your friend not gonna be standing next to you at judgment.
Exactly.
Or when it comes time to take into account of what has been done, your friend not gonna take the blame for you. There's always a motive behind everything people do. The best you can do, deal with those things that are within your grasp first, then branch out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Locally. You can participate locally and make your community better. City level, state level, nation level. When was America great? Oh, America was great at doing what it was doing, killing and taking over
Mm-hmm.
and trying to take over the world. They were great at that. It don't take much to be a great killer. I mean, so when people say things like y'all don't got, people get so upset. Columbus didn't discover America. Yes, he did, because he didn't know nothing. How ignorant are we when you read a book, even a book that's full of lies, say when he got here, somebody else was here. That dispels the myth that he discovered anything except for
Mm-hmm.
himself. He discovered it for himself and for the people
Mm-hmm.
that paid for his trip, not for everybody else. So
Mm-hmm.
you gotta be a better thinker, critical at it. You gotta quit sitting around talking about you don't need no education. Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to have to try everything that comes before you. You're going to have to research everything someone says to you if it's unbelievable. Even I don't care who the preacher is. I'm sure he don't want you to just believe him. If he do, he wicked and you need to be away from him.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Anybody that don't want you to learn, anybody that tell you you don't need no education, you don't need to go to school for nothing, they're not your friends.
Mm-hmm.
They
Wow.
want you
That's
to be in
good.
the same situation they in.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Gotta keep this thing going. Let me go to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart? And we got another caller. We better go to the caller right after Badger. What's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
I'm agreeing with what's being said
Mm-hmm.
across the board because we live in such a strange society. Like even with my Native American background, I acknowledge that yes, Columbus was not the first of human being on this continent, but they didn't even know it existed. So of course it would be considered as a discovery for them. So
Mm-hmm.
perspective, perception, researching with an open mind, gathering all of the facts, understanding both sides of a coin. There is so much into research. It's not just about opening one book. It's about opening many books. Even when if you're into wanting to know what the bills say and stuff like that, there's a lot of times I don't understand it as much as I research, and I'll reach out to somebody like Leonard or Joseph or somebody that I know understands a lot more, understands that lingo better than I do, and we'll sit and discuss it so I can have a better understanding. But it
Mm-hmm.
takes time, and it also takes their time. So it's just finding that time that works for both people to be able to communicate about these things, to learn, to be open-minded enough to go, I as an individual do not know everything. I as an individual don't need to trust everything that I see or hear or even smell. I mean, like, you buy a candle thinking it's the, and it's a lavender scent. Well, that lavender scent was literally made in a lab and has nothing to do with the lavender plant.
Mm-hmm.
They learned how to mimic the smell.
So is that a lie?
Well, if they say it comes from a lavender plant and it didn't, yeah. But if they say it's artificial, it's artificial.
No, I'm talking about the smell itself. Is that a lie?
That's a good question. I'll have to think about that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good deal, good deal. We got. Go ahead, finish your thought, brother.
But what I'm getting at is we're all saying things from a different point of view. Of us as an individual have a responsibility to figure out what truth is, and then if we have kids, do the best we can to raise our kids to question things in a respectful manner.
Good deal, good deal. I'm going. We got another caller. I'm going to go to the caller, but I'm gonna play this right here, and this is my response to the Christopher Columbus discovering America. This is my response to that, and I want y'all to listen to what this brother's saying. I played it before, but I'm gonna play it again.
Raheem, do you know we can't hear it? Whatever that is.
Oh, y'all can't hear that?
No, I can't hear nothing.
Yeah, no.
Oh man, I thought y'all could hear it. I was playing the thing thinking y'all could hear it. Okay.
I can hear it.
Somebody can hear it?
No, I couldn't hear it either.
Man, good.
I heard it.
Oh, okay. Who heard it?
We can hear it on the call. I know that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but y'all couldn't hear it on the video side?
Nope.
No.
Wow. It was the little skit that the man said about he discovered the car. The man pulled up in front of the place, and and he went inside a place to get him a water, and the guy jumped into his car. He said, "I discovered the car." Then he went into the whole conversation about Christopher Columbus discovered America. He said, "No, there was already people here. So how could he discover something when there's already people here?" And that's what it was. But let me do this, Leonard.
Yes, Raheem. Oh, hail the good Bishop Gregory Adams.
Bishop, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I appreciate all the prayers, man. The operation came out very well, so we're doing real good.
Good deal. Good to hear. And good to have you with us this morning, brother. I'm asking a question. In this society in which we live in, man, are we mentally lazy? Do we want to go out there and discover for ourselves, or do we want to just listen to what everybody say and go with that?
Well, I think the comments that were made, bags up everything, the question that you asked. Yes, people are mentally lazy. They just want to go off what somebody says without doing the legwork or doing the research themselves to verify, so information. But I fell out laughing for two reasons. One thing, when Leonard went talking about turnip greens and mustard greens, my mother discovered that you can mix turnip green and mustard green together, and they come out with a whole different taste.
Yes, sir.
I want y'all to know my mama discovered that my mama discovered that cooking method.
She discovered it. Okay. All right.
Oh my goodness. What's the green? Lord.
Yes.
Yeah, but Rico said it, man. Everybody said some great things, man, that are actually true. And if we don't wake up and realize that there are propaganda, false propaganda that are that's being put out there, and we just gravitate to it. The argument would be on one wise, like Leonard was talking about. Folks say Christopher Columbus discovered America. Yeah, in his mind he did. He didn't know anything about it. But the people that were here already knew about it because they were here.
Yeah.
So it was a discovery to him, but they give him credit because he came from Spain and come over here and say, "Hey man, there's a land over here, this and that." Then at the end of the day, but the truth is, it's a little bit opposite of what the reality of what they're talking about. And I love that commercial. I mean, that clip you played, and I heard it loud and clear because I looked at it and I laughed at it because the dude left the keys in the car. Dude jumped in the car. I discovered the car.
Exactly.
So, but that's how someone would look at something, and the argument is not going to be valid because it really doesn't belong to you.
Exactly.
So he really can take the credit for it. But we don't pay attention to a lot of stuff. Another thing Rico said, life insurance, a living will or a will. Now folks are trying to gather money to, they got to GoFundMe so they can bury somebody's child, a husband or wife, because they didn't take out time to do their own legwork and get, let me see whether or not we can get some living insurance so that when he or she dies, the breadwinner or the supporter of the family, then we'll still be able to live. I call it living insurance, not death insurance or life insurance. It's living insurance. That's what it is. I need to keep living.
There you go. There you go.
Great show, bro.
Hey, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Willa!
Raheem.
Talk to me, sis. Talk to me. Are we just mentally lazy? Are we just burnt out, torn up, just lazy? Don't want to do nothing mentally. Don't want to think for ourselves. Where are we? Where are we?
What I think it is sometimes, Raheem. First of all, we do what we want to do. Come on now. Anything we want to do, put every effort it is to get what we want to do or what we want to desire. Anything else is just an excuse. We use that because we can. Somebody else said it earlier, the free will. We have the free will to choose or do what we want to do in this life. And that's something that is like, it's a hinder. It's a good thing, but it becomes a hinder too. Because what it does is it limits us and puts us in this little box when you're not thinking outside of that box. So, we just got to look at ourselves because, when Cassandra was talking, I was seeing so much of me and her. I am just so different when it comes to just certain things in life. The other day, my husband, we were going out and I think I was wearing white. And my husband said, "You ain't putting that white on, are you? You ain't supposed to wear white." I said, "Who said it?" I said, "I'm wearing what I want to wear. Ain't nobody telling me what to wear. If I want to wear green, pink, yellow, or gray, I'm going to do it."
Yeah.
And so I find myself being just living the way I want to, not that somebody's making a certain standard that I have to live by. So I'm just saying that we have to look at ourselves and say, is it really important that I should know that? Because look at how we talk about the government. We talk about the government all the time. But the government is made up of people. People that we put in place, people that we elect. Why are we talking about it? We're not doing anything about it.
Come on.
So that's what I'm saying. We need to think about things that we say, things that we talk about, and stop being sideline coaches. Because we're sideline coaches. We are. And that's what's so hard, right?
Good deal. Good deal. Toya with the T, you still with us, sis? Toya, you there? I think Toya might have stepped away from us for a second. Let me go back to Cap. Cap, what's on your heart? Cap, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Are you clear? Are you clear to talk now? I know you.
Oh yeah, I got clear. I got clear. We got clear. We sitting there.
Okay.
In front of Starbucks, my wife giving me my little juice for the day, but I got the lady that's taking me to the gate. She was listening, and she enjoying the conversation. Now,
good.
Answer me now, so I can get back on point.
No, we're still talking the same situation. Are we mentally lazy, man? And what do we need to do? Let's speak resolution. What do we need to do to fix this situation, whereas we can get to a place or a point where we can actually think for ourselves?
Well, it's wait a minute. It's like this. Can you still hear me right?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. It's like this. When I said mentally dead, in the scripture, it talks about a resurrection. Many people think that the resurrection means going to the graveyard and all the people in the graveyard going to rise up. But we in the nation, we're taught that The resurrection means the mentally dead of people that had been systematically over 400 years been robbed of the knowledge of themselves. So when I said a mind is a terrible thing to steal, well, you take up people's language, you take up people's culture, you take up people's norms, you take up people's values, and you take them and you strip them so completely that they don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about yes, the people that are mentally lazy, there's no question about it. They'd rather follow than to research. Yes, yes. We call that the 85%.
Yes.
85% of the people do not know the knowledge, the true knowledge of God. 85% follow. The 10% of the rulers, the wickedly wise, they're the ones who control of the wealth. They're the ones who control all the media. But there's a 5%. And 5% of the righteous, those are Christians, those are Muslims who know the truth. And we're fighting to expose the 10% so they let the 85% go. We're dealing like that now. And people are dumbing down. If the ignorant is that it's a choice today. There's no reason to be ignorant of all this knowledge and information that you can get from the social media and Google it. So I do think that we all are saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that we are mentally dead. And I believe that God is sending someone to raise us up at this mental and spiritual condition. We talk about we believe in the life of Jesus. We believe in Allah. But our actions are dead people. There's an old saying right here. Dead people don't go where living people don't take them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that again.
Wow.
The dead don't go where the living don't take them.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Wow.
We can sit there and talk about how they mentally, how they're dead. That's my opinion. And guess what? And I'm so glad to hear my sister. Well, that's what's on my heart right here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the young lady that's with you, does she want to comment? Cap?
Yes.
The young lady that's with you, did she want to comment?
Oh, yeah, she's right. Yeah, she want to say something. Go ahead, sister. Yeah, whatever. How you enjoy it?
I'm really just a bystander because I'm just pushing him to get him to his gate. But I'm enjoying this. I'm loving it. What he just said, I'm really in tune with it.
Wow.
And essence, like earlier, he was telling me about Black women. Like you said, sometimes we get in our own way. We are our own demons.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the fact of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sometimes we have to take the criticism and make it to our own knowledge and be knowledgeable about it.
That's good. That's good. And I want to let you know that we're here every day, Monday through Friday. We have a different topic every day. You can actually find us if you're on Facebook. You could go to DKM Radio 1.1. DKM Radio 1.1. That's one of the fastest. Or you could go to DKM Media Group. It's actually broadcast there as well. But that's a lot for you to remember. But DKM Radio 1.1 on Facebook will be probably the easiest way to find us. So join in with us, man.
Yes, I'm going to go follow. I'm definitely going to do that.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that. And you get an opportunity to give us a call. We'd love to hear from you as well, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. And what's your name again?
My name is Christina.
Christina, nice to meet you, sis. Nice to meet you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good deal. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother? Toussaint, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, we're like I don't know what is it that gets its energy off of something else.
A leech.
We don't want to.
Like a leech.
Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's another thought right there.
Exactly. I know it would be. Yes, sir.
That's another thought.
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing called a sucker. I'm not a farmer, and I don't grow plants. There's something on a plant, a tree, that you have to get rid of it because it's called a sucker.
Mm-hmm.
It's designed to drain the nutrients out of the plant. It's useless. If you don't cut it off, And I'm just telling you what little that I do know about a sucker. And it's very little. But if you don't get rid of it, it'll take everything that the plant needs to actually grow and produce.
Mm-hmm.
People are like that.
Wow.
And if you don't, that's why sometimes it's necessary to change your circle, your environment, the people that are around you. Because if you're not careful, they operate like suckers.
Wow.
Just a little knot. All it is, just a little knot. You may pay it no mind until you see the effects of it, because it starts draining away. Even you, us, what you really need to grow. And what we do is, the bad thing is we take for granted that it's true. I sent you something around here for a reason. I said here's what they did. They heard a cry saying, "Crucify him," and they went along with it. Because that was the loudest noise made. That's just me. That's just me. I don't know how that's true. That's the way I think. That's the way I think. Right?
Wow. That's
they saw him do a lot of stuff. Heal, set free, and deliver. But because the crowd made the noise, it's kind of like us as a people. All you got to do is see somebody running. What you gonna do? Run too.
Exactly.
And when you get down the street, then you're gonna ask what happened.
What we running for? Why we running? Exactly.
You remember the man looking up in the sky and he drew all the crowd, and when the crowd got big enough, he looked and they said, "Well, what you looking at?" He said, "I'm just trying to find out how many fools I got that can gather around me."
Wow. That's it. Rico, talk to me. Ryan, coming to you next.
Yeah, I think everybody hit it out the park, man. You know, and that the woman that came in, Christiana.
Yes.
I think that's what she said her name was, man. Man, I love what she did because she did it so quick and easy. See how easy that was?
Yeah.
The truth could be so easy sometimes once you can deal with the fact that you don't have any shame about accepting your responsibility or your flaws. Something that we have to work on. We all human. We all have flaws.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's the reason why it was so easy for me to say, you know what, man? I catch myself reading the headlines and that's all, and then I'll jump off the handle and come with my opinion. Then I look like a fool after I go back and read the article. I like, look at these jokers, they tricked me. I already know they do it, but for some reason, I still fall for the same trick every now and then. Why? Because I be ready to get on to the next story.
Yep.
So I don't want to take the time to read this one. I think the headline says everything that needs to be said, but you don't read that story, man. That thing might be about 2 pages.
Exactly.
You might be reading that article for about 5 minutes, and that's a little bit longer than the headline. Headline don't take you but about 5 seconds. Ain't that how very quick?
Yep.
So they use a headline to get your attention. But for those that don't want to take the time to read it, this is what we want you to think.
Ain't gonna get a lot of them.
You know,
gonna hook a lot of them too.
And then go ahead.
No, I was saying you're gonna hook a lot of making your point. Agreeing with your point, they're gonna hook a lot of them just off the headline.
That's it. Just the headline, sensationalism. You know, this dopamine in our brain, man, it loves good things, fun. Y'all know how much fun is. Fun is so fun. I wish my whole existence could have been just all fun and happiness. Like dope, like drugs, and we want as much of it as possible. So it may be more of a need, I ain't gonna even say a need, more of a desire for us to watch have and have nots than to go and watch our friend, our niece and nephew in a play or doing a recital on a violin. You know how much that support would have been for that? Or to even go down here and talk to the people about the pollution or the contamination in the environment. Do you know how long it took people to sign up for this Monsanto lawsuit down here? Out of this whole population, you was only getting lawsuits of maybe 1,000 people here, 1,000 people there, but it infected maybe 100,000 people.
Wow.
But people that show up to the lawsuit, 20,000 strong, until Johnny Cochran came in, because that's when they knew then that it's real.
Mm-hmm.
These folks ain't just up there suing for no reason. It really is something going on. People start signing up that didn't even live here. They're trying to find a way to get some of that money.
Wow. Wow.
Hey, let me use your address. Let me say I live there. You know what I'm saying? It took Johnny Cochran to come in and bring attention to it and to influence the movement to get everybody on board to come in and hit Monsanto the way that they did. And it worked. It had two effects. It brought in a lot of stragglers that were just, jumping on the bandwagon. Then it brought in the people that really needed to be concerned about what was going on. Even those soldiers that was on Fort McClellan is in a big lawsuit right now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really hear much about it, and they can't pick up the momentum that they need. All these people that was poisoned by the chemical weapons that they were being trained around. But if you turn on the have and have nots of a football game, something that can distract you and entertain you and make you feel good and celebrate and have fun, you will prefer that, and that's just the human nature. So I'm one of them, and I'm still a work in progress. And I'm not really concerned, I'm going to say I'm somewhat concerned about the direction that society is going in, because I think it's my duty to make other people aware of this condition that we subconsciously go through, each one of us. Exactly. And that's being addicted, infected or influenced by things that really shouldn't be such a priority. We are more addicted to things that we want than what we need, and that's an addiction. That's a distraction.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to accept that they under that spell.
And I say it all the time. People will always, 10 out of 10 people pay for what they want and beg for what they need. And that's a very sad reality. Ryan, what's on your heart, brother?
Clue me in. I was absent for a minute.
No,
we still on.
Yes. Are we mentally lazy? And
yeah.
What we're talking about now is what can we do to kill that situation, whereas we can be more alert and more up on what's going on. What is the solution?
The solution is to interact with people that's on your level. Don't get caught up with the mess. I kind of agree with Toussaint when he's talking about the sucker on the tree. I said in chat, poison ivy does the same thing. You would think poison ivy is just this little tiny insignificant plant on the ground that you brush up on it and then it give you a little itch, but it grows and it'll take over an entire tree and suck the life out of it to where that big foundational tree becomes a gigantic monster, and it's nothing but poison ivy. People don't know that poison ivy can do that. It's, you can in a roundabout way look at life like that too. You got those people that start out in your life as a little tiny sapling. Next thing you know, they done attach themselves to you and put that mindset on you and taken over your entire foundation and changed your fundamentals. You got to be careful of who you associate with. You got to be careful with what you let in your mind and affect you in certain ways. And I say it all the time, and I know people tired of hearing it, but there's an agenda out there to these things. They do certain things on purpose. We always talk about the system this, the system that. Well, you got to look at the agenda behind the system, and we talk about that in certain contexts, but not others. We got to be paying attention to what's going on out here. The divisive nature of people, the divisive nature of government, the divisive nature of media. These are all things that play a part on our psyches and change us at our foundational cores. It's just like staying healthy and working out. You got to keep your core strong, right? In the physical, you got to keep your core strong in your mental game too. It's not all about being tough and in shape all the time. This weapon up here is everything. You got to use that mind and just expand it. Stop just taking everything at face value and believing everything that's in, like Rico said, in the headline. You got to stop believing everything that the news put out there. They on an agenda. So That's what's on my heart.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, I'm looking at the clock, man. It's 10:12, so we're about to get out of here, man. It's been a great broadcast. We might want to touch a little bit. No, we can have a whole different thing going on tomorrow. We have something going on. Then I gotta come up with our little fun out Friday fun outlet we got to do tomorrow during the last 30 minutes. I gotta come up with something, man. Something clever. I'll come up with something. But Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today, sir?
Boy, before you get out, man, the whole agenda is divide and conquer. Remember, that has always been an agenda. It's to divide and conquer, and the reason behind it. If you missed today's show and would like to hear and see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
He said entirety, didn't he, Ryan? He said it, didn't he?
Yeah, I told you, man, it's a habit, man. It goes back to what we were saying. You got to be mentally lazy and programmed and influenced with that wrong word.
Hey, that's good. That's good. Good deal. Hey, Mr. Hicks, you got anything on your heart before we get out of here? Mr. Hicks? Mr. Hicks, I'm going to say it to you. I ain't said this in a while. Mr. Hicks, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Anybody got anything before we get out of here real quickly? 1 minute, 30 seconds to a minute.
Raheem.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what we can do to get sort of out of our lazy state is the things that affect my life, my community. I become active in that, and you understand what I'm saying? I just don't read about or know what's going on around me and not do anything about it. The way that we can do something is we become proactive. So real quick, we have a corner right here by my house that there are 2-3 accidents there a week. And we have asked the city about putting up a light, and they haven't. Last night, there was another bad accident. 2 people ended up going to the hospital. So now I'm going to have to take it to another level. If it means protesting, whatever, because people, they're waiting for somebody to die, I think. So we got to be proactive. Whatever we see happening, we have to take the information that we have and do something about it.
Exactly. Anybody else? 30 seconds to a minute. Anybody else have anything to say? Good deal. Willa!
Hey, man, I concur. Man, Raheem.
Willa, I got to ask you a question. Are you ready?
Raheem, I am so ready to receive God's word. Come on, Raheem.
Well, Willa, I ain't got one more thing to say. One more thing, and that's it. Let's go.
Let's go, Raheem. Father God in heaven, Lord, we thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to get up this morning to see another day, to get it right with you, Lord. And Father, I'm asking that you decrease Willa and allow the Holy Spirit to go forth, Lord, where your message will be heard and not mine. We thank you, Lord, for all that you do in our lives, Lord. We're not perfect, Lord, but we know that you already know because you are omnipresent God, an all-powerful God. We thank you, Lord, for the love that you give us each and every day, unconditional, Lord. Father, I'm praying, Lord, that you tear back those things that are keeping us from being more understanding, more loving, having more wisdom, Lord. Father, I'm asking you to continually strengthen us, strengthen your children, Lord. Father, I'm asking you to keep allowing the Holy Spirit to dwell within our vessels, Lord, and use us, Lord, for your purpose, Lord. Father, we thank and honor you this morning. I'm praying for those that are asking for prayer this morning, that are asking that your word that heals, that your word that tears back, that destroys the evil and wicked things in our lives, Lord. I'm asking that you give us the victory through your power, Lord. Father, we know that it's not anything that we do, but we know that it's the power that you bestow on each and every last one. Oh, Lord, I thank you, Jesus. I thank you for the Holy Spirit, Lord. I thank you for all the things that you do, Lord, showing up and showing out. Father, I'm asking you to touch each and every last one that's on this line. Father, touch their heart.
Father, you know more than anything what they need. I'm asking you to line them up with your will. Show them your ways. Father, thank you for Raheem and his family. It's DKM Media Radio Show where your message to go forth. I thank you, Lord. I honor and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen. Thank you, Lord. Ooh, thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. We thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Amen. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody. And more than that, I want to thank everybody for joining us. And thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:17. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple, I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. That we shine some of this light in you for the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Give somebody some love and truth today. They would appreciate it. And I'm sure that you will as well. Love you. Talk to you tomorrow morning if God says the same.